Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirted historian. And it's nice to see you guys for another week. I got something for you real quick before we start. Had a comment on one of my videos by the esteemed L. And let me tell you guys, I love L. He's a good guy. But Joe Biden apparently is talking in the background there. But you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute.
No,
but he says, if Twig had real titles, if Twig had real titles with topics like this video excerpt, maybe more people would watch it. Generic stream name, date, ton of rambling people on camera. Twig is the Don Lemon show. And I guess it kind of is.
Where's my ice cream?
Get out of here, Joe. Try
to smell your hair.
No. I didn't wash today. Anyway. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of like a lunch table type format. You know, this is just like a bunch of us guys getting together and hanging out, and girls when we get girls. We don't get girls on here very often. It's kind of like the real hobby. You know, you don't get girls to come play with you very often, but that's what we always want. But anyway, yeah, we're just here to kind of like. Yeah, there you go. We're just here to talk about the stuff that we enjoy, and you know, there was a time I actually did try to cut everything down to formats and tell everybody, it was like, okay, we only got like 10 minutes to do this or 30 minutes to do this, and we're going to move on to this, then we're going to move on to this, then we're going to move on to this. And we ended up covering lots and lots of topics, but we didn't really get a whole lot of anything discussed about them. So I kind of feel like this more open format kind of works better. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Joe, stop interrupting me.
I'm sorry, I got Alzheimer's.
Oh, Jesus. See what I had to put up with? Anyway, I guess I better start this show before Joe shits himself and, you know, has to be taken away by the Secret Service.
Whose underwear are these?
Well, they're not mine, buddy. All right, everybody. How y'all doing?
Anyone else smell tacos?
No. As long as you're not smelling burnt hair, you're probably okay.
I'm good, to answer your question.
My hair is trying to escape my forehead.
The cuts are nice, but the stream title is lacking. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I don't always know what we're going to talk about from week to week, L. And I, you know, for anybody who's thinking about this, I really do like L. L is a cool dude because he is a straight shooter. He's bluntly honest. He's to the point. And I honestly think he cares. Otherwise, he wouldn't say anything at all. And I like the guy. I genuinely do. He's a good dude. If you ever want to come up on the panel, I'd certainly let him. Although he might end up spending like the first 30 minutes of the show chewing my ass out for stuff. But I understand. That's okay.
Well, I mean...
I like the letter B.
We're just not going to be able to say anything, are we?
I've been quiet.
Well, I was just going to piggyback on T-shirt and say, you know, the kind of an open format is kind of nice in a way, but at the same time, I mean, L's criticism isn't exactly completely off base. You know, I think you need to do it your way. You know, I mean, you know, be true to yourself, and you know, it is what it is, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into this, you know, I had another friend, a guy who actually pulled me into YouTube. Name of Fat Steven Seagal. Maybe you guys have heard of him, but you know,
I heard he was your parole officer.
Yeah, he was. But anyway, I watched Fat Steven work his ass off every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, getting on stream, talking, and working his ass off, and he blew all the way through monetization and 1,000 subs in a year, and he has earned it. He earned every damn bit of it. I'm really proud of him. I love that dude. He's almost to 6K right now, but he works his ass off on that channel. I mean, you know, he learns his video programs, his editing programs, and everything else. I'm still trotting along with Microsoft Video Editor. You know, I can't be asked.
Is he dying? Why does this sound like a funeral?
No. Yeah. But, I can't even be asked to change out my title cards that often because it's such a pain in the ass. If I wasn't getting help from Animane, building up my shorts and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't have much of a shorts library like you guys have been seeing lately.
You can just ask, too. Some of us are more than happy to help.
I like shorts. They make the air flow.
They do. No, L, that's not Sojant. That's the basic D&D cover. And Ironcaster, how come you're not in here?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in here.
Even I'm in here. I haven't been in here in weeks.
Yeah, Greg, I'm happy to see you.
Yeah, Greg's been away for a while. Ironcaster.
I heard he watches a lot of Pokemon. We saw it on the Secret Service video.
Nobody watches that.
A deep fake Pokemon stuff.
No, he's into Belle Delphine.
Digimon.
Victor is not going to be here today. Green Dragon.
He's catch them all.
Yeah, that's the one. Green Dragon. Victor's not here today. He was feeling pretty sick, so he isn't going to make it. Grim, I think, is in Meat Space gaming tonight, so I don't think that's why he's here. Otherwise, yes, L, I would love to have you and Grim discuss what you meant by your earlier comment. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes. All right. Well, speaking of this, okay, Based Biden, I have a question for you. So I just got paid today. Yeah, my mom. I just got paid today, and I'm looking really hard at Atomic Heart. I've been excited for it since I saw the titles and everything like that, and I want to know if it's something I should blow. 80. I don't have Game Pass. Damn it!
It's cheaper than buying the game, isn't it?
It is, but I'm not gonna buy Game Pass. I'll buy the damn game if I want it. So my question to you is it any good? Is it worth having?
Why are you yelling at Joe?
I'm yelling at Joe because Joe don't hear.
Pardon?
See?
T-shirt, I don't know why you would want to not support our ally in Ukraine by buying.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, they want to pull that one now. But it's like for $99.99, they've got the premium edition. You know me, I'm always going to buy the premium edition if I can, because of all the extra shit. But
it's cheaper on it's cheaper on the G2A.
Yeah,
the game is good.
Uh-huh.
Skill Up did not give it a fair review. I'm talking slow because I'm scratching my nuts and trying not to forget what I was saying.
Okay.
I think you shouldn't buy Atomic Heart and just
like
give the money
cashews.
to the Ukraine.
But see, here's the thing: it's like I could give the money to the Ukraine, and I wouldn't enjoy that. But I could play like Atomic Heart, and I'd probably enjoy that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's about the Ukrainians, man.
Right, it's not about your enjoyment. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're making a world safer democracy here. Like, a democracy where, I won't even get into it because that would be political.
That would be political. I mean, are they going to send me a Ukrainian bride or something for $99?
No, but you can get a flag and hang it,
Oh, dang.
Like
they can send the brides.
Because apparently everybody in this country is doing it. I haven't seen one. But.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get all
the video.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, when the president comes on, what are we going to do? I mean, politics.
Vice president.
But, we can't separate politics from the real world,
What do we got here? Oh, it's a short from Fat Steven.
It's a fucking canister. Well, it's something. He's mutated. No shit, Sherlock.
This brings up another really interesting question I'm going to have to address with you, Based Biden. Wow, that looks cool.
Looks can be deceiving.
shit, that was.
If that's a
insane.
comedy, I don't know what
You
that
guys
was.
seriously got.
Wow.
It's like some game Victor made.
It really is. I could just totally see Victor, in one of his alcohol-induced stupor. I'm just going to put shit together and throw it all in the mix. And
You know, I really want to do like a cyberpunk, like steampunk, where you have like rockets and you have like lasers and robots.
and you could put rockets on your pee-pee and shoot them at people.
All right, I'll lay it down straight because I actually beat that game in a couple of days. And now I know who it is. Is the voice back to normal?
Yes, it is.
All right, let's lay it out here. Don't listen to things like Skill Up, who literally sound like they're coming at a condescending factor rather than an actual professional when it comes to the review. That game has an open world system. It has crafting. It has everything. It takes hints from every game out there, whether it's BioShock, Prey, Dead Space, and it gives respectful nods. Yeah, there's some things like with some sound issues, maybe some combat might get repetitive, but the whole point is this game is supposed to make you feel like you're one of the only survivors left on this facility, and every robot wants to kill you. And they do. And they even have manufactured systems that will repair the bots that you destroy. And you can watch them be rebuilt with nanotechnology right in front of you. You're not supposed to feel safe. When you get into the dungeons, it switches to like a 4K system because that's where they did it for next-gen consoles and stuff. It's great. I was not bored. You're not supposed to feel like the character is serious. The whole world itself is not serious. It's supposed to be an escapism mechanism that it gives you in an alternate timeline, the way BioShock Infinite or the other BioShocks did. I had fun. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but the way the developers are going is they're going to get more story out with, I guess, if you have the premium pass, and you're going to get to know what happened. It has puzzle tiers for any type of person who likes puzzles. It has the right combat. It could use better stealth or some stealth. It has... I don't see anything wrong with this game. And if it was such a crap game, why did it knock Hogwarts out of the top list on Steam? No offense to the Ukraine crap, but they're a Russian company who changed it to international, and all they're doing is staying out of this. And this is their first release, is it not? And it is a damn good game. Anyone who wants to inject the politics or the SJW nonsense that we see on Twitter, look at Hogwarts, that failure, keep your mouth shut. I don't care. It's my money. I will play whatever I want to. If you don't like that, guess what? You could have to deal with it or just turn me off, like everyone else should think. Games are meant for one thing: enjoyment, escapism, and to lose a couple hours without dealing with the real world BS. Anyone who tries to signify otherwise, saying you now have to take a political stand, has never touched the naked body of the opposite sex they're interested to, or same sex they're interested in. You want to know why? Because they're too insecure to stand by their own things, and that's why they go on Twitter to complain and cause nonsense. They're children in a high school mentality, and guess what? F them. Is that good enough review?
Based at Steven. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm curious about something. You're fully monetized, and you have a pretty big audience.
I've been monetized and demonetized and remonetized. Yes.
Yeah. So you've played the magic, the magic ring around the monetization tree with YouTube for a while now.
I know enough about what can get you hit, and I know what you don't want to do or what you want to skirt around.
Okay. So here's my question to you.
Yeah.
We have seen quite a few games here lately that have really been hardcore on the expletives, especially the F-bombs and things like that.
Oh, that's after the 15 seconds. That's why I usually play a starting screen with copyright-free music, and I'll have the chat going, and I'll burn through that. None of my live streams, if they get limited ads, I review them and they get put back in. I've only had. So you're saying that stuff?
Well, no, I'm not talking about the 15-second rule. That one's pretty well known now. Yeah. But I'm talking about just you're running along and you're streaming, let's say, that game was it that came out not too long ago, where literally it's the girl was always just saying, fuckity, fuck, all this, every 5 seconds. I don't remember. It wasn't Forspoken, but it was something else.
I didn't play Forspoken. That dialogue in that game is like wiping your ass with sandpaper.
Oh, I imagine. But I mean, it's like a lot of the games like these days are really, I mean, they're very curse heavy. You know, Witcher 3 is very curse heavy.
It's
You
not
know,
even cursing, T-shirt. You have to look at the way that YouTube is trying to come at it for violence or imagery of guns and thumbnails and all that stuff. The problem is they're not thinking about this. A large fan base that plays Fortnite is a younger generation that deal with weapons, but don't see them as a trigger warning to go down there and be weaponized themselves and go hold up a grocery store, then build a 90-degree cubic feet box in front of the entry so no one can escape. Like, you're not going to see that. So
Right.
YouTube is either going to play favorites, which we've already seen with Corey Kenshin and other bigger streamers out there when it came to the Quarry, or you're going to see that they can't be a children-friendly channel platform without realizing that kids are now more desensitized, but also are playing games with weaponry and everything. And if you take that out, you're going to hurt a lot of the streamers with over millions of subs and over 25,000 people watching a day. And when you start hurting the income of the streamer, they're going to get pissed. I don't care about your ad revenue. They pretty much don't care. They have enough sponsorships. They have enough everything, but it's not going to trickle on them. It's going to trickle on the smaller creators. The violence, the cursing shit, guess what? Deal with it. If you don't feel like it's safe enough for your kid, parental lock the goddamn app. Don't give them a phone. It's not up to YouTube and the content creators, which we already get the options to make it either 18 plus or not meant for kids in our studio that's been there for God knows how long, to abide by a moved goalpost because YouTube wants to be more kids friendly. That's why you have a kids section. It just sounds like it's targeting channels they don't like. It seems more like a biased algorithm based off employees than it does an actual algorithm where it's supposed to be sharing content. And I come from the district of Canada. My bad. And I'm going to say that truth to the fact. This is the way I can describe it from being demonetized and remonetized again. YouTube is not for you. The U does not stand for anything that you will follow my rules. I don't care if you don't like them. This is a timeshare. They're allowing you to make money that's technically still their money. And at any time, they can just cancel you and take everything. That's some good looking pizza. Don't drop it on yourself now.
Of course I'm going to.
Okay. I hope I'm making sense in that, but like, is that where you're coming from? Did I go off the rails again?
No. And I mean, I'm serious. I mean, that was one of my thoughts is with them trying to make all these more commercial friendly type streams and all this kind of stuff like that. I'm kind of like, well, yeah, but there's like lots of games out there, legacy games even, that have lots and lots of cursing just as part of the game. I mean, it just, because they're mature themes and subject matters. And so, people are going to say F all the time.
I think it's going to happen is they want to keep it out of thumbnails and imagery in case it pops up in a kid's feed, because we're known to see weird adult stuff in a kid's playlist when it shouldn't for recommended. So I think it should be falling more on the parents than the platform. The parents can complain, but if you're not monitoring your kids, you're at fault. We also had Susan step down, and we're having a new person coming in, but we won't see changes from that new person for at least 5 years because whatever she's still put in effect is still going to happen. So we might see goalposts move back. It also depends how many bigger streamers on YouTube are going to voice and say crap when they feel like the hypocrisy is going way out of bounds. YouTube is a social platform. They are not Turner Warner. They are not Disney. They are not Cartoon Network. They are holding and supporting those types of content creators and corporations on this platform. They can't just delegate for everyone one set of rules and then do it for another. And we even saw this with a Joe Rogan clip where Joe Rogan says, yeah, I had a different set of rules. So we already know it's there. The problem is it's not going to help anyone in the end because YouTube won't be around forever. Someone bigger will eventually come along. It always
This really kind of speaks to something that's kind of representative across the board through a lot of different things right now.
Drive-through RPG.
Yeah. Morality clauses, the OGL debacle. Even going back to that, where we're going to police the content based on basically how we want to do it. Remember they mentioned there were sweetheart deals to certain content creators. Back when the whole OGL thing dropped, that came out. So yeah, there's a different set of rules if you're in the inner circle.
But the bottom line is it still comes down to the consumer, right? I speak of this and
your gain is really high.
Oh, thank you.
Is it?
Yeah, his gain's really high. Yeah, his gain was like really high, almost peaking.
Am I better?
Yeah, you're much better.
Sorry about that. No, I pulled it back. It comes down to the consumer, and I look at it from something that I just did this morning. I, disabled YouTube on my 6-year-old son's laptop.
There
It
you
was
go.
getting to be an issue, not with content, but just with amount of time spent on device, and it was
Correction.
specifically targeted. I said, here's your warning, here's this, here's that. But as a responsible parent, it's my job to pull it back. So if I notice these things, and I'm not going to pretend that my 6-year-old doesn't know what fucking shit, because it's my house, right? They're going to hear that stuff.
I have a serious question quickly. You keep saying pull it back. Are you a moil?
Come on now.
Half a Jew.
What?
Half
That was
a Jew.
that was a good joke. You know what the moils do?
I do.
Yeah, come on, man. And
Never
and-
buy goodness from a moil.
and
You missed
Al-
it by a week. We had all sort of cut jokes. Was that last week?
I don't know. I
ago.
was probably
A couple weeks
sleeping.
ago.
Yeah.
Al, I did not know that. I'll look into it. But no, I work for 2 other channels. I work for Valiant Renegade. I work for WDW Pro, and I work for my channel while taking university classes to learn Photoshop, while self-teaching Filmora and all that stuff. So it's a heavy plate as being a YouTuber. But I didn't know that, Al. I'll definitely look into that. But but that's what you're doing. You're being a parent. You're literally telling your kid, go touch grass without being an insult, because that's the whole thing, though. The devices shouldn't be coming out when you're going outside to ride a bike, right? That's what's
Precisely.
being lost. And I'm not a parent, but it's the common trends of everything. If you're always staring at a screen, you're going to miss the meteor that's going outside your window.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and so I guess I want to say that I agree with you, but there is a common perception, or I don't know if perception is the right word, but people are reluctant to take. Well, they're not reluctant; they're too damned lazy to take
Yes.
to take responsibility for these things, and therefore, we need the corporation to do it for us, because I'm on Instagram and I've got this and I've got this, and the kids have to get to soccer practice, and then Sally's got dance practice, and blah 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 blah, and I don't have the freaking time. And so there's a sort of,
Double
I mean,
standard.
honestly, when talking about the market, there's a demand for it in a way.
But then that goes against the whole thing we're looking at mainstream media, especially things like Disney or Paramount Plus, and even stuff with WB and etc. Is that we're all saying stop trying to teach our kids, we'll teach our kids, and yet the lazy factor is also taking into effect. The problem is you gotta mute the ones that are being lazy and start focusing on the people that are actually voicing. Like, I'm not going to go into politics with this too much, but look at how DeSantis has changed certain things when it comes to stuff with schooling, like normal education. A lot of parents complain about. He made it so you guys have to learn how to do your taxes, know what mortgages, stuff like that, basic living standards, right? That shit should be taught in all schools. And what DeSantis has been pushing that type of thing. Everyone else has been twisting what he's been doing into some sort of anti kind of movement. I'm like, yeah, it's an anti-stupidity movement. That's why everyone is so up against it, because it goes against the narrative, the message of what people are trying to make the norm. There are pictures out there where you see college or university students taking pictures of their lessons for the day, and it's how to understand maps in college. It's disgusting. So I think as much as the corporations are paid off. They're still making money off everyone else that wants to be on this platform. The parents should still be parenting. If they're going to be due diligent in their ignorance and their negligence, then it falls on them if their kids become a deadbeat.
Well, and I don't disagree with you. We are on the same page. I'm just saying that there's there's sort of a
argument.
there's it's pretty common.
Yeah. And I'm not crapping on crap parents, right? And we've seen these things like whether you're looking at like IS and phobes and all this stuff, and how it depends on the stats coming from families without fathers or families without mothers. There's all these interlinking factors, but when it comes down to is everyone is trying to push a narrative and rechange the meanings of words, whether it be in a dictionary or phrases, to a point where the seriousness and the effect of those words being used, we're supposed to make you stop, think, and recheck yourself the way comedy used to. And that still applies to parenting. The spanking eventually got taken out because spanking was considered abuse, but it smartened up a whole lot of kids, especially that belt, that wooden spoon. Everyone knows what I'm talking about because everyone has had that predicament. The thing is, now we're living with a generation that's taking over that thinks they were told they were the bestest ever, whether they're shitting in the toilet or shitting on your bed. Eventually, someone bigger along is going to come along and smarten that kid up, or not. And that's when the professional victim comes in. Rather than accept you screwed up and fix your faults and move on and grow from your consequences and not do them again, they play victim and point their finger at the person's fault for hitting them because they don't understand that they messed up because they don't see themselves as doing anything wrong.
When everybody gets a gold star, then they don't have any benchmark to gauge their own progress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we're taking away the uniqueness because everyone wants to be the same. I'm sorry, if everyone's the same, we're never going to have any more creativity. We're not going to have imagination. We're not going to have art. We're not going to have things like Atomic Heart and Hogwarts.
Instead, we'll end up with things like D&D 1, where it doesn't matter what your race is because you're all the same.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I played soccer as a kid, and wouldn't want a participation trophy. I never kept them. That's the thing. I have this saying here, and I'm not trying to make this all about me. I hope I'm helping with this whole conversation. Is
No, you are.
if you have an I don't want to swear, but I probably will try not to. If you have an effing problem with me, and I don't know you have an effing problem with me, and you refuse to come to me with that effing fucking the effing problem, guess what? It's not my fault that you have a problem that I haven't tried to fix. It's the same thing with the kids. If they have a problem, you don't throw a screen in front of them. You try to talk to them. They're smarter than you think. They're also more manipulative than you think. That's why
They are.
thing is so hard. But then you remember how much times you did that crap, and you try to apply it by sharing that story, but not saying don't use it. There's a way to kind of be a friend, but also strike the fear of God that you're still their parent. And I think that's lost.
I agree. And you're right. I've seen it plenty of times too. It's like, the kids are more manipulative now than they ever were. Or were they? Because we were just as manipulative as they were. It's just that the difference was we got our asses kicked.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed that much. I mean, I remember reading an interview with Orson Scott Card back in the day after he wrote Ender's Game. And one of the criticisms about that book was children don't think this way. And if you've ever read the book, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And yeah, they do. Children are much more self-aware and self-conscious and manipulative than we give them credit for. And even though we've all been children, I think maybe we've kind of forgotten that.
Yeah. Cerulean, oh my gosh, is how life gets involved with the things I always talk about.
But he nailed it. With the thing. Sorry.
Cerulean's talking about the greatest football players in the NFL. The attitude the moment you're satisfied with yourself as a football player, you stop improving.
Well, they did.
He's right.
But
he is right. But it's funny because anybody out there who watches football will probably agree with me.
No.
Okay. If you were to compare a football player from today to a football player from, say, Rosie Greer, his particular generation of players,
or hell, even Gary Bradshaw,
or the Mean Joe Greens, or any of the Fearsome Foursome, any of those guys would tear modern teams to pieces. With the shit that they would do.
They would bitch slap people like Kaepernick off the field.
They would.
How you stop improving yourself? Like sports in general stopped improving themselves as soon as they all bent the knee and started complaining about the Olympics and doing this, not singing the anthem. So you're disrespecting your country worldwide. Do you think anyone across the world is going to respect you for my politics? It's the same crap, and you're raising kids like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like the concept of smash mouth football doesn't really exist anymore. As a sport. Yeah. They've lessened a lot of the impact and all these other things like that. And I understand why, because, traumatic brain injuries are a real thing. And yeah, people have been getting hurt and getting their careers ended short and all this other stuff. I understand that. I know why they do that stuff is to protect the athletes and stuff as much as it is anybody else.
It's like,
but it's
sorry, I thought you were done. My bad.
But it's kind of like, I almost don't understand how modern players and stuff like that could compare themselves to players from the past. One of the things I do is on Monday nights, I get on Snowdub's channel and we talk martial arts stuff. And frequently I'm bringing up combat footage and stuff like that from Pride FC, from K1, from Bellator, from all these sports fighting companies. And one of the differences between back then when I was watching Pride and UFC now is UFC has a lot of rules in place to protect the fighters, like their heads and all this certain moves you can't do. Like you can't hit people in the back of the head. You can't kick them on the ground, all these kind of things. Well, back in old Pride, those guys used to wage war on each other. They would come out of there just messed up. And you see them today, and those guys are in bad shape. One of my friends, Gary Goodridge, who's a Canadian fighter, has got all kinds of traumatic brain injuries and stuff like that from the wars in the ring that he used to get into with other guys. I mean, I watched Gilbert Ivel take him out with a kick straight to the face in one shot in like 20 seconds into their opening match. It was incredible. Gary says he can't even remember what happened. And,
there's a comparison which we can do through gaming when it comes to the way the generations are right now. Most everyone who's played Last of Us remembers Last of Us, right? Everyone can remember why they're attached to that game, whether it be the starting of that game, the end of the game, or the whole throughout that game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go from that right to Last of Us 2. You get about an hour. Hold on. You get about an hour and a half into the game with Last of Us 2, and that scene happens. And then when you're playing afterwards, literally all your emotional attachment is gone. You have no fun in this game. This game is no longer a game. It feels like you're trying to do something for homework, and you don't. That is the way you can look at the generational gaps when it comes to improving yourself, emotional attachment, why you're striving hard to do something better, and it's across the board. It literally is. That's a perfect explanation, because I've been there and I've been through it, and I felt, and you know what it's like having it sucked out of you. It's like these guys don't even have that ability, that drive anymore. It's like we're not pushing drive. We're not pushing failure as still a success, because if you fail, eventually you're going to have to figure out why you failed so you don't fail again, and then you become a success. But you're always going to fail as you keep going through. We're not. For some reason, that has stopped now, and it's also affected the way we have conversations, discussions, having opposite opinions and values, and being able to work together. Hey, look, it's a Barbie doll. And sorry, I was talking Ironcaster. We have lost the ability with all of that to inspire people to find themselves and drive through. And we're seeing this when it comes to whether it's, I'm not trying to be mean here, gender euphoria and all that other crap. It's like everyone is trying to cloud the serious objectives, which is basic principles, with just socio-political nonsense. And everyone's trying to say, you need to respect me when it's earned, but you're demanding it like a terrorist.
Yes.
And that is the problem. You're no longer working for anything. You're expecting handouts. Now, even I'm looking at Marvel and Heather Antos for that one. It's fucking sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Desk.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. And you know what? I'd hate not to be a kid today. I'd hate to be a parent today, because as soon as they leave the house, you are no longer monitoring what's going to affect them. You're more terrified what has affected them is being brought home, and if it's going to affect your relationship. Because no parent wants to lose their kid, right? I'm not talking death. I'm talking no parent wants to lose their kid because they have decided to become something that is a surreal reality rather than find themselves first. Because then you're lost and you're stuck in that cycle of there's nothing I can do, and it sucks.
Yeah, you're right. And yeah, Max Boyven is a very good guy too. Also, L. Yeah, I mean, it's like, when you're a kid, it's like, did your parents let you touch the hot top of the stove and get burned? So you figured out real quick, say, hey, I better quit doing that. I'm going to keep getting burned. Or did they stop you ahead of time and try to explain it to you? It's like, me, I got burned. I got cut playing with razor blades. I got all those, got skinned up knees and elbows and everything else, and kind of learned the hard way. It's like, if you keep doing stuff like this will hurt.
Let's go.
Quit doing it.
I can add to that. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a career in Toronto, right? And stuff like that. But was 6 to 9 years. I it's a blur. In that time period, I had 16 separate vehicles hit me.
Yeah.
I didn't run for them and stuff, to the point where it gave me a herniated spine. And I still have that spine. I chose to keep it because if the neurosurgeons did surgery on it, I'd be paralyzed from the waist down. I could have given up after the first car, but I had to pay rent. I had to get food on the table for myself. I had to provide for myself. That type of mentality where how much pain is worth me being able to sleep in the warmth versus sleeping in the cold is not here anymore in this generation. It's not. It's mom, help me. Dad, help me. I'm going to live in here, your basement until I'm 30, or your attic, whatever you want to call it, the reverse basement. And it's then a point where you're trying to share stories and they just write it off. Oh, you're just old. Those times aren't now anymore. Okay, go
Yes.
pull out your iPhone and find me the app that builds you a house in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
and it ties into other things. I'm an actual historian, and I threw up a post the other day that was talking about, showing ISIS destroying, priceless Sumerian tablets and things, and how unbelievable it was. And that post got a massive amount of engagement. There's still people commenting on it to this day. And it's there is this whole generation where they're just willing to throw away or disregard history or anything that came before in favor of trying to build new narratives out of stuff. And this goes with comics. It goes with movies. Apparently it's going with TTRPGs now too, because how many times have they thrown Gygax under the bus? How many times have we had to deal with those were problematic times, and we do not endorse them. However, we will continue to make money by selling them to you.
I want to apologize for derailing your whole conversation. I say try it.
You're totally not. You're not, because we built into it, because everything that you've talked about is, it's all of it links in, because it's all part of the pop culture media that we're dealing with now, and it's all kind of tied together. It's all one thing. It's not a symptom of just a single topic. It's a symptom all across all media, all entertainment, everything. Would you guys agree or not?
Oh yeah, I would totally agree. It's a cancer that has infected the lymphatic system of society.
Yeah, there's only one allowed approved idea and narrative that you can only have it go one way, where there are certain things you cannot do. Like we just saw them talking this week as the only bit of news from Wizards of the Coast this week of note, where they said like, no, we can't do Dark Sun because it's considered too problematic of a setting, because it's a hellhole of a setting.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter. It spans everything, right? Whether we're talking about tabletop, board games, television, movies, pop culture, there's going to be that infiltration, right? And why not just put it out there and say, hey, we're not going to hide the bullshit. Here it is. Have a big sniff.
See, that's the problem, though, that when people do that and they start talking against the narrative, whether you're Nerdrotics, Jeremy Griggses, or Echo-based networks, Midnight's Edge, I'm just naming like as examples, Eric July's, you get the ones that literally try to go against them, saying, why are you guys targeting and being bullies when you're literally targeting the whole minorities you're supposedly protecting? It's the same crap. It's like you're trying to maintain a narrative that doesn't work in society, because we're social beings that are going to have differences and uniquenesses no matter what. And then you try to apply it to gaming, comics, your Fruit Loops, your Cheerios, your Transios, whatever they're called.
Transios.
Yeah, exactly, because they keep changing shape in water. I'm sorry. But the thing is,
Cheerio grew a penis.
the thing is, I want to go to a theater. If I'm dropping $60 at a theater, the last thing I want to do is have like, hey, guess what? Harley Quinn has a message for you. Your penis is bad. Your penis is bad. Now on to the movie. Oh, that's great. Okay, thank you. Let me go find my baby Yoda, and I can just shove my head in there.
I don't want to drop like $75 on Saints Row just so that I can, listen to a bunch of kids whine about, bullshit the entire time and try to lecture me and make me feel bad. I want to fucking, I want to play the game where I can pick up the great big giant purple dildo bat and beat the shit out of somebody and steal their fucking car.
Yeah, but but all this kind of speaks to something that I briefly mentioned last week, which is there's intention. Even though the people who are performing it may not be aware of the intention, they're just kind of minions, mindless minions. There's an intention behind erasing the history.
Yeah.
And that is because when you remove the benchmark, when you remove that historical perspective, then reality suddenly can be whatever they want it to be.
See,
whatever they say it is. It's classic 1984 Orwell.
Yeah. See, Eric
get rid of the old goalpost. We can now set a new one up.
Yeah, that's why they're revamping the words and dictionaries. But Eric July is a damn video game normie and part of the problem. He complained Hogwarts had too much story and not enough action. It's a damn RPG. See, I didn't see that video, but I will disagree with with his take if that was the take. It doesn't make him part of the problem. Everyone has different takes based on the perceptions and their enjoyment of a game. At the end of the day, I played Hogwarts for 2 weeks straight, 4 hours a day, live on the air, and everyone was enjoying it because guess what? They were either Harry Potter lovers, they wanted to see what it was like, and it gave them that escapism and emotional attachment that people do to Star Wars. Harry Potter is still the Star Wars of a generation. It's always going to be. I don't agree with what Eric July said if he said it in that way, but yes, it is an RPG, and I had damn fun. The dialogue and all the multi-quests and all that stuff was supposed to give everyone a large enough, long enough experience. So I can see where you're coming, but I don't think it's a part of the problem. I think it's the people that are trying to attack people that are trying to push different things and give opposite opportunities and options when it comes to entertainment. They're being attacked because they're not lining up with the people who think their virtue signaling and supposed privilege is a free pass card to talk on behalf of minorities, which is what we're all talking about should not happen. They have their own voices. Why am I smart today? I did not drink something right. What the fuck?
It's because you haven't been on here in a while, and it's kind of fun to engage with people. But that's why
so
I don't.
You gotta forget just the kind of right balance of like caffeine or whatever. It's like I'm never gonna.
Oh no, I quit coffee. I switched to G Fuel about a month and a half ago, and it's been great.
G Fuel's pretty good stuff.
But Hogwarts was fantastic. Honestly, it's made more than Black Panther did. Hell yeah!
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, and now Atomic Heart is taking the top place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a good game. It might not be what everyone's expecting to go through, but I had fun with it. I had enjoyment with it. It did not bore me. Everything was good for my opinion. I got spoiled, and now I don't know what to play next. I played those 2 games, and I tried playing Last of Us 2 last night, and what I did was literally picked up the guitar where Ellie learned songs, and I just made stupid songs and shorts over top of it. Because that's the only enjoyment I got. And I'm not coming at you, El. I'm really not, because I'm just my first time meeting you, but I'm saying everyone's gonna have different takes and different perceptions and expectations of a game, but the sales and the numbers don't lie that it's successful. One review or 10 bad reviews aren't going to ruin a game, because look at the SJWs that tried to cancel it. All they did was give it more money.
Yeah, I'll have to check out that Table Breakers episode to see what you're talking about. And I thought I had watched every single Grim Jim video that he's put out this week, but I guess I missed that one. I'll probably have an opportunity to talk to him tomorrow or so. Kind of to see what you're talking about. I'm curious, but yeah, Fat Steven is saying it better than you can type it. Yeah, Fat Steven is. That's why I like having him on the show.
It's a rare thing. I'm always super busy, but it's the ADHD. It's simple. Life is really that simple. Wake up, eat your breakfast, take a shit, take a shower, do what you want to do. Make sure you get your responsibilities done first, then have fun. It is literally that simple. If you don't get something or you need help, ask for help. Even I'm guilty of not asking for help, because guess what? You think that's a sign of weakness, but weakness breeds strength. I'm not preaching either. It's simple things. And I don't ever get this articulate, because I am sick of people coming after gaming. I'm sick of people coming after friends. I'm sick of people saying, well, I won't do this because you're not agreeing me with on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, like it hurts my brain that we can't go outside, talk about a show, talk about politics, talk about a book, disagree and agree, then go outside in the backyard, have some ribs or maybe corn on the barbecue if you're vegan, and just shoot a beer.
And put on some boxing gloves and beat the shit out of each other.
When was the last time you sat down at the bar with friends, had opposite opinions of a conversation, still had fun, and had like a plate of nachos and chicken wings, and not felt like you just got drained?
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, that's one of the reasons why I do like Elle, because even though he does come off very adversarial in some cases, and maybe a little bit curmudgeon-y, he tells it like it is, and he's pretty honest. And I honestly think it comes from a place of love.
No, he's
when
blunt.
he speaks.
He's blunt.
Yeah,
I respect
he is blunt.
Blunt
and I respect that.
Blunt is an art form that should not be lost, because if you can't take it direct to your face, you will never understand when people are talking behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally prefer straight shooters.
Yeah, you always know where you stand with L, because if he didn't give a shit, he wouldn't post anything at all. He'd probably just said, "Yeah, fuck this. I got better things to do."
Yeah, don't give him any passive aggressive crap. Just be honest. We can still talk about it. It doesn't mean I hate you or you hate me. Yeah.
And that's what they're pushing right now. That is the thing. You say you don't like the new Trek, so why are you giving any new Trek time if just because you're interested in it? You're this and you're that. It's Star Wars. It's all the same crap. Stop trying to force people to take sides. Just because your name says influencer, that this is a big one for me, influencer, doesn't mean you get to influence the perceptions of the people listening and watching. The reason why they're listening and watching is because they have like-minded views, not like-minded hostility. Take your ego out.
Which is why we need to say more inflammatory things to Greg, like Megalon would totally kick Gigan's ass.
Yeah, sorry, I just haven't had much
I
to
talked too much.
contribute to this one.
As meme says, legalize dueling. I'll get rid of a lot of the assholes. You want to know why? Because a lot of them won't even know how to load a gun.
Well, also true.
Sorry.
So, Greg, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, you've been pretty under the weather lately, I think.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I went to the hospital a couple of times and was been really sick, and but I'm okay now, I suppose. Hopefully.
That's good. That's good. Your package still hasn't shown up here yet, so I thought maybe he didn't mail it yet, but he's had some issues, so I'm not gonna go and bug him.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do much in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I
Pretty
figured.
rough, but
It's okay, man. I know it'll get here when it gets here.
Hi, Squeaka, and hi, Greg, and hi, Dying Breed, and hi, Ryan. It was nice to meet you for the first time. Sorry to sound like a ranting maniac. I wish I do this on my channel, not other people's.
We like ranting maniacs.
We do.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of stole my job, but that's cool.
I used to get yelled at for this. This is the funny part. They're like, "Why are you freaking out?" I'm like, "Passion is not rage. There's a difference. I maintain anger very calmly because if you lose your anger, it's just a downward spiral. But like passion is some of the things in fandom, whether tabletop or not, that is what gets people fired up. That's what gets the chat involved. That's what causes you to smile, you laugh, to get angry. That passion, that emotional drive within all of things, which is media, not just consumption, but enjoyment, is something. That's why a lot of people are fighting on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I've had this discussion with T-shirt before.
Yeah, it's like we don't get mad about shit that we don't care about. Like, when people were losing their minds over Hogwarts Legacy, when I came on the YouTube channel, I was just kind of like, I have no dog in this fight, so I don't honestly care one way or the other.
Oh, I antagonize the crap out of them on Twitter every time I went live. I'm like, SJWs lose.
But see, you were passionate about it.
I'm a big believer that if you're going to stir the shit pot, use a big spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You notice how quiet it was for Atomic Heart versus Hogwarts? Do you notice how quiet it was? Because that's the SJW shut up. And like Twitch streamers saying, well, I'm just not going to stream this game. Guess what? You just gave all your viewers to another streamer that was probably looking to grow. Congratulations. You just lost your following. Because you put your self-interests of standing ground when it's a video game. This is my boggles my mind. It's a video game. My God, it's a video game.
The thing is, like, I think I saw the premiere for. I think I saw it at E3 like last year or so. But then it totally was. I had no idea it was even coming out until people started trying to protest it. It's like, well, thanks. You just let me know about this game exists now. I'm gonna go wishlist it.
I dropped $112, almost $120 for the pre-order edition just so I could play 3 days early, and I didn't stop playing that game. Honestly, the way there are some things in this game, and I brought this up in my review, like where you're jumping on your hippogriff, the way they have the camera angle for the hippogriff. Everyone remember the old 80s Clash of the Titans where you're seeing Perseus on Pegasus? Okay, now they can do that. If these guys have the rights to even do a Clash of the Titans from that movie and like just do it for this, they could nail it. The map design. I think these are the same guys that made Generation Zero, right? So these guys have not only mastered of how to make you feel like you're actually in a Harry Potter film, they could apply the same aesthetics and the same skill to any type of film that cannot be adapted correctly. Screw the God of Wars. I would love a Clash of the Titans where I'm going into different Greek mythos and different like temples and dungeons and facing Medusa and then jumping on my goddamn Pegasus and flying around fighting a Titan. Where is that? There it is.
You forgot the magical talking mechanical owl.
They didn't say much except for who, but yeah, I love that. Or the gods in the mirrors, or the reflections too. And all of a sudden, a shield and a sword showed up on different statues. I remember that movie. That movie was fantastic. I love that movie.
That movie was awesome.
Giant bad-looking scorpions. Hell yeah, let's go.
I remember seeing that in the theater when I was a kid. That was a good movie.
Yeah, they have a Spider-Man mod in there. They can also turn your broom into Shrek. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Hogwarts lets you breed animals, capture animals, raise animals, plants. Like It has everything in it. And if someone doesn't like that it's too long for talking, that's not going to bother me at the end of the day because everyone wants to play for it. And this is it. The sales have come out just for the next gen and PC, right? Switch, PS4, and Xbox still haven't been released on those consoles yet. Get ready for another surge when that hits.
Yeah, I would say just based on the sheer success of this game, it is. I think long term, it is going to wind up being like on the shelf right next to all those movies, to the books. Like, you say what you will about the other like Fantastic Beasts films or whatever. It's like those ones, no one's talking about those. No. But you have the 8 films, and then this game. Mm-hmm. That is, like, I think this game is proven to be successful enough that it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not going to be bundled at some point with the movies. So I think it will sell.
I think I'm really hoping they go back on their message with the whole no DLC, like with the amount of money and praise they got. Like, the biggest thing we have to look at this year is whether or not Jeff Keighley is going to acknowledge it as a possible game for the year, or it's going to be snubbed. And if it's snubbed based off sociopolitical nonsense, Game Awards are done.
I want a Cocaine Bear video game.
Now. I want to watch Cocaine Bear pretty bad. I noticed that film has dethroned Ant-Man and the Wasp. Of course, I knew it would.
It was such a bad film. Oh my god!
It's also only just the Friday numbers, so we'll have to see how the Saturday shapes up.
I might actually take some time out tomorrow to go see Cocaine Bear. I really want to.
Ironcaster, it's cocaine and a bear. I mean, what's wrong?
Hey, look, I'm not complaining here. I'm gonna see it at some point. I'm the guy who likes Shark Side of the Moon.
Never seen it.
That's true. He does.
By the way, available for free on Tubi. That is a Tubi original. They paid money to see this movie.
And what was that again? What was that?
Shark Side of the Moon.
Okay, I'll be
Shark Side. Is that SHART?
Hey, don't be shitting on the quality of my film.
You shit on my ass in the chat, okay? So calm down. You always look like you got out of the shower. What are you doing? Lifting a Twinkie?
No, he's nice and clean. That's a good thing.
I did just get out of the shower.
Parrothead, I did just check my Twitter. That's why I just put that picture up, dude.
Think about this year. This year we also got the System Shock remake coming out. We got Resident Evil 4 coming out this year. We have
that's coming quick.
Dude,
I didn't believe how fast it was coming out.
Oolong is coming out. Sons of the Forest is killing it. I even want to play Sons of the Forest because it looks hilarious just to dick around. Like, there's so much out there. That's why they're going after gaming. You want to know why they're going after gaming? Because they failed with comedy, and now comedy is stepping up again. And now they're going after gaming again because it's the one aspect where people get to have their imagination and be who they want, right? Because the choices in a video game market
is coming.
I don't like what they did to Cammy.
Street Fighter 6 is in June.
They took away Cammy's boobs. It's like, how do you go through the evolution of the game? You're like, hey, knockers, where'd it go?
She had a breast reduction surgery.
For what?
So that she could do like cannon spike and cannon drill faster, I guess.
How does that she had no problem in the other games, but that's menial. I'm just making a joke about the boobs there, but I'm like,
I don't know.
Look at Fortnite.
We've got Zelda coming out.
Fortnite has every property of his son in there, right? Imagine if they actually did release Harry Potter skins in Fortnite. They would be devastated with money.
Did they do Street Fighter skins for Fortnite yet?
Yeah, I have the Cammy.
Yes.
There's Sakura. I think there's Chun-Li and Ryu. But yeah, the stuff's there. There's enough out there to be entertained, and that's why they want to kill it next. Because as soon as they can start inserting their messages into the video games, you have no control over your kids, right? Because you might think the game's fine. That's a big issue I have a problem with right there.
Oh, I remember DOA. You know, I never liked that game. I mean, I played the crap out of it, but the difficulty settings on it were just ridiculous.
Oh, come on, T-shirt. I didn't like that game, but I played it all the time. I mean,
well, okay. Let me rephrase. Yes, I did play it all the time, but yeah, the difficulty settings were difficult because it's like for some reason AI on a lot of video games, especially fighting games, is pretty much is kind of like the computer decides when it wants to start doing special moves, and of course it doesn't have to do any special inputs, so it never flubs a special move. Therefore, if it wants to, it can kick your ass at will with no difficulties whatsoever.
I think I just found out what's probably going to wind up getting Game of the Year this year.
Oh, what's that?
Spider-Man 2.
No, It's going to be a tie with Hogwarts. Hogwarts' sales will outmatch any of these games. There's no downs.
Now you're talking about an actual sequel to Spider-Man, not Miles Morales.
It's Miles Morales.
Oh.
Sinister Six, right? That's Spider-Man 2.
I like I said, I'm just kind of looking down a list. I'm looking at the list of games here, and you know how it is. Like Sony always gets its little preferential status.
Mm.
Like
I like the first one.
Armored Core 6.
Is that the Rubicon one? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We have Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Starfield, for God's sakes, Dead Island 2, Jedi Survivor.
Is anybody actually looking forward to Diablo 4? Because honestly, the more they show me, the less I want to play it.
Yeah, it looks good.
I didn't even know there was a Diablo 4 coming out.
I'm not.
It looks good, but I mean, the whole premise leading up to it is just kind of like, wow.
What's the premise?
Apparently, Diablo is a complete schmuck, so his mom gets raised up and decides that she's going to whoop everybody's ass.
Oh, well, they have to do something.
Literally.
As long as they keep pumping out D2R content, who cares about Diablo 4?
I haven't played D2R in a while.
I like D2R. Actually.
What's D2R?
The re-released or the resurrected Diablo 2, where they basically just made Diablo 2 but updated the graphics and dropped more stuff for it. It's a cash grab, but it's a cash grab with nostalgia. So, you know, I'd really kill if Bethesda would just patch and fix Fallout 3 to where it would stop crashing on my damn PC, because I would really like to play Fallout 3 again. I missed that game because I really loved it.
No,
I know. I know. I just have to be content with continually replaying New Vegas and modding the hell out of Fallout 4.
I play 76 still. I have fun with it. It's been changed quite a bit.
76 is fun, but it suffers from the same problem that Fallout 4 did, and that is the enemies are complete bullet sponges. So you end up wasting all of your ammo trying to kill something, and then you don't have any ammo. So your really nice super special squirrel gun stops, runs out of ammo. Then you're just kind of like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to pick up the bat and go to work on it now, or whatever hand weapon. So your hand weapons end up being your winners.
Midnight Suns, I'm still playing through, but I'm enjoying that. They just released, I think, Venom now joining the team. They have Deadpool joining the team, and honestly, it does have a lot of talking more than Hogwarts. But I enjoy the card system combat as well as all the cutscene animations. Midnight Suns is like something, if you haven't tried it and you have time, give it a chance.
Dying Breed, you want to talk about the D&D movie?
Well, I mean, we were talking about all the games coming out, and I just, I think
we might as well talk about it, because I mean, it's it's like just a couple of weeks until it releases, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah.
I don't have dates.
March 31st.
Is it that late? March 31st?
Something like that, yeah.
For what, the D&D movie?
Yeah, D&D movie. I'll look it up.
Yeah, 31st, because it's it's nestled right between Mario and I think the Renfield.
Yeah.
You're correct, Green Apple, by the way. Yeah, I do like Fallout 76, but yeah, heavy weapons are about the only thing we're speccing in now, and you run out of ammo. Play the 30-second trailer from Paramount Pictures. I might get copyright claimed.
No, Paramount will claim the crap out of you.
They will claim it. L.
It's the same. It's the same with the Star Trek shit, dude. They do not like any kind of content. As soon as you start criticizing it, they will come after you.
Yeah, I can't, L. Otherwise, I would, because believe me, the scene that they dropped with the raise the with the Speak with Dead, that looked actually really funny. Because it's kind of.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's just the kind of stupid shit that you could actually see a real party do.
Exactly, and that there was a level of meta there that was going on. It wasn't super subtle, but it was a little subtle. And it's one of the things that I actually posted. I actually posted that video on my Twitter, and I've got more interaction from that than I've ever gotten from anything. I think I got 179,000 views
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I got more than IGN's website, and they're the ones that posted it.
Yeah,
And, and it was crazy because the clip I watched it. I was like, I gotta admit that's amusing. That's that's pretty funny, and it was done fairly well. It was predictable. I mean, everybody knew what the joke was going to be, especially anybody that's been involved in the hobby. But
oh yeah,
I mean, I was like,
it was cute.
okay, yeah, it was cute. You know, it was reasonably done well. It looks like the special effects are maybe not the worst, and I'm torn. I don't plan on seeing the film, at least in the theater.
Yes,
but I mean, maybe it's going to be better than I think it's going to be. I don't know.
It's going to come to a service eventually. It may come to HBO Max. It may come to Amazon Prime or something like that. It'll come to a service where I'm already subscribed to it, and then I'll watch it. But I don't want to pay to see it. I don't want to go the extra effort of putting the money in WOTC's pocket over it.
Right. No, I won't pay to see it either. I mean, there are going to be a lot of ways to see this movie once it's released.
Yeah. I mean, without having to put on the eye patch. But I don't know. It doesn't look like the worst thing.
No, and it's, Christ, it's got an amazing cast.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
so
is the
torn.
killer, man. It
torn.
looks like, would it not have been for the unforgivable sins, we probably would be like, yeah, we're going to go see this movie. Every single person on this panel would agree. But I can't do it. It is my line in the sand. And
well, I'm with you, Ryan. I'm not going to go see it. I mean, I'm not going to give them the money, but it's, but I loved that level of meta that was going on there in the background because I don't know the characters' names, but the wizard or cleric, whatever he was, and the tiefling talking, 5 questions. Well, I don't know. That's just how it works. It seems rather arbitrary. That's something that you could hear players sitting around a table saying to each other outside of the game, in a way.
I got a devil's advocate contradiction right here with the whole hey, they got to. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When you said they got a great cast, I'm going to now throw this back in. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Palpatine. Original characters, and what do they do with them? They never even had them together. So as much as a great cast is a good thing, it depends on how they use them.
True.
And to this day, I have still not watched Rise of Palpatine, and I refuse.
Have not seen.
Have seen, regretted it, but
Star Wars lost me.
Why do you hate yourself, T-shirt?
Because I same reason I watched Rings of Power, because
You watched that?
I did. I sat through every.
Well, no, seriously, what'd you think?
Hot garbage.
Oh boy.
Just give me like a 30-second.
Okay.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay. The quick lowdown. Okay, Galadriel is an insufferable bitch the entire show.
Well,
absolutely the most unlikable character I have ever seen in any show, film, series, whatever. She is an asshole to every single person who interacts with her on every level. I mean, at no point in that show ever does she show a shred of anything that might make you think, this is a person I wouldn't mind having a conversation with and hanging out with, because she knows more than you do. She's more passionate than you are. She's better at everything than you are. And I mean, she's a horrible character. I can't stand her. She made that series suck. The Harfoots are disgusting and stupid. They are all like, we're all a village, we're all each other has, but if you do anything, we're gonna leave you behind to die. Which made no sense to me whatsoever. So screw them. Then we had gosh, who else did we? Oh, I could barely remember. Okay, we had the Black Elf. He was actually a good character. I liked him. I didn't have a problem with him. his color or whatever notwithstanding, he was a decent piece in the show. Unfortunately, the people he was set against were ridiculous. You've got like a village full of ex Morgoth lovers who, are all basically blaming him for being watchdogged, and a village healer who apparently is the bestest ever, to the point where she actually has to save him from an orc. Stupid. Also, there were other stupid things that happened in the show, like the Sword of Sauron apparently activates the dam, which floods the volcano, which creates Mordor, which we didn't need to see that, and that was a dumb mechanic in the first place, and it's just why. You have the regent of whatever the hell that place was that was eventually flooded and destroyed, so it doesn't matter anyway. Who is better than everybody? Numenor. Yeah.
Okay.
Just another horrible, awful character that you don't care about. Not to mention the fact that more than once in the show, you can see that the chainmail, or actually the scale mail that she's wearing, is a shirt, not an actual chainmail.
I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know where they put that money for the budget, but it doesn't show on the screen. Mostly terrible characters. It's not even good as a generic fantasy, to be quite honest, because there's too many holes in the plot, and there's too many stupid things being said, and just stupid things in the show. If it wasn't Lord of the Rings at all, it still wouldn't be fun to watch. I'll put it that way. That's how bad it is.
Well, I mean, it's not Lord of the Rings.
No, it's a glossary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Amazon. Well, we've got the rights to this, and this. Oh, we don't have the rights to anything before The Hobbit. So we're just going to basically create fan fiction.
Yeah, it's like if I took shredded lettuce and tuna fish, and then I wrapped it in a tortilla and handed it to you and said it's a burrito. Is it?
Well, I mean, it's coming from a Hispanic, so maybe.
Oh, okay. So that makes it okay because it's coming from a Hispanic, so that makes it legit, right?
Is it a corn tortilla or like just flat?
It's whatever you like, whatever. But see, it's the same deal. It's like, okay, well, because it came from a legitimate Hispanic, then that means it's a legit burrito, right? No, not necessarily.
In a taco truck or not in a taco truck?
I mean, I don't know. I'm white boy. How do I know?
Are you wearing a sombrero and a poncho by chance? Is there a donkey nearby that says Nabob?
Okay, well, I mean, it's okay if I take Ryan David and I dress him up in a sombrero and a poncho and I instruct him on how to make a burrito and he makes one and he gives it to you, is it still authentic? I don't know.
Senor.
Only if it gets a suntan.
I don't know, but that'd get a lot of views on YouTube.
I'm going to steal the sombrero from my local restaurant. The one for birthdays that needs deloused because everybody was worn it.
Oh, God. Oh, man. I mean,
well, I'm sorry to derail with kind of old news, but
no, it's fine. I don't get to talk about it that much anyway because it's a horrible memory. But yeah, it's terrible. And then from the sounds of things, the second season isn't going to be any better anyway. So it's kind of like whatever, man. If they want to just pour money into it and waste it, that's fine. At this point, I figure it's like either a tax shelter or a write-off or it's somebody's cocaine habit just thinly, being discussed. Yeah, we spent all that money on Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Yeah.
It's absolutely a place where they can dump a loss.
Yeah.
It's money laundering. That's what it is.
It's legal money laundering, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's money laundering myself, we got 44 keys of Bolivian flake. We got to find a way to cover this up. Hey, we're going to make this new TV show called Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Excellent. Good. I want you to say that's what we're spending all this money on.
Si, senor.
I don't know. But it's not good. What can I compare it to? Okay, you know that Witcher blood, whatever it was, crap, bloody stool.
Blood Origins.
Yeah, bloody tampon, whatever. On Netflix, if you want to watch that, that's better than Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power. Not much better, but I mean, I did fall asleep mostly through the second episode, but it was still more enjoyable than Rings of Power. I mean, I didn't hate it as much as I hated Rings of Power, and I am a Witcher fan, so there's that. I didn't watch Willow because I don't want to pay Disney Plus money. So
I haven't seen Willow yet either.
Willow,
I've got it. I remember loving the movie back in the day.
yeah,
When I was young. But I commented earlier today on something about it was one of Victor's tweets that everything Hollywood has become the King Midas of shit, and everything they touch turns to crap, and I don't really want them to touch anything else that I loved as a child.
But they're going to keep touching it. Look, we got Escape from New York coming. It's going to be a fucking train wreck.
I know. Is John Carpenter involved in that at all?
The last thing that I read was Carpenter said that he had no direct involvement, and the information that they fed to him indicated that Snake was going to be a gender-swapped character.
God damn it! No
surprise! Yeah,
watch Greg's head explode.
It was one of our news pieces a couple weeks ago. Cheap plug on Nerd Cognito. But Carpenter said he has no direct involvement. They did not have any consultation with him, nor did they even ask him for input, and that they're going to gender swap Snake. And that was from John Carpenter's mouth.
Okay, well, I'm out.
Oh, yep. Dying Breed. Did I show you the Rings of Power script process?
No.
Oh, you need to see that. Hang on. Let's show that real quick. This is courtesy of our friend, the Echo Chamberlain.
Oh my God, I can only imagine.
The writing process for the Rings of Power is an elaborate one. First, the writers develop a draft where a Celtic and Nordic feudal fantasy epic penned by a Catholic old gent nearly a century ago can be enhanced and improved upon by being made to reflect the modern world. Next, the draft is circulated among the homeless community, where the warm splattered diarrhea of their most unwashed is smeared over the paper with an extra coating of fecal filth added from the lavatory at a truck stop. Then, using advanced motion sensor technology at a cemetery, they are able to locate the final resting places of generations of former writers who are literally rolling over in their graves. Exhume them, grind up their bones into a powder to be mixed grittily into the excrement-soaked pages of the script, and then run that document through a chain of Amazon executives, each contributing COVID sneezes, dandruff, semen spray, and other effluvia until the finished product, a sopping, barely intelligible mess, is retranscribed by a diversity hire intern who has lost one contact lens.
Yep, there you go. Yeah. And he's not exaggerating. It's that bad.
Okay, well, there you have it.
Yep.
Man, Escape from New York is like one of my favorite movies ever.
Mine too.
I have like some sort of special collector's edition on DVD or something somewhere.
Yeah, me too.
Here. Oh
yeah.
God.
It's easily in the top 3 Carpenter movies ever. Everyone knows I have a soft spot in my heart for Donald Pleasance. Look, if you want to do it and you want to have a great female heroine doing some sort of near future sci-fi adventure, great. Write a great near future sci-fi adventure that has a female protagonist.
You remember Doomsday?
I'll watch it.
Make your own damn movie.
Just
don't
Doomsday? Shit on my stuff. Now, I never saw Doomsday. Everyone told me I need to watch this.
Yes, go see Doomsday. Doomsday was great.
Doomsday was really good. It
was. It was.
That's my thing tonight when I'm passing out because I've hit my limit with waking hours and meds. It's going to be that movie tonight.
It's funny. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It does have a female protagonist. It's an original story. It is very Escape from New York, except it's like Escape from somewhere in the middle of England.
Right?
It's what I don't remember all the details. What they're trying to get south of Hadrian's Wall, aren't they?
I don't remember.
I don't know. It's like Scotland or I don't know. But yeah, it's actually a good movie.
It was a fun movie. Yeah. It's not going to win any awards for, originality or anything like that, but it was fun. It was, a nice gore-soaked film.
There you go. And again, I have no problem to let the market decide when they're doing these things with these movies. But don't shit on something that's already established.
Exactly.
Make your own shit instead of destroying something that, a lot of people grew up with, know. I mean, who doesn't know? Call me Snake, right?
Yeah. And speaking of shit, Angry Joe finally got around to doing the Forspoken review. I'm not going to show the whole thing, obviously, because it's like 3 hours long, but this I thought was kind of cute because it represented it.
Forspoken. We follow a gritty, streetwise girl from New York City, and she is thrust into a dying fantasy world. It's overrun by plague. Warring sorcerers have carved up the landscape.
Incidentally, I kind of feel like a lot of what is going on in this video, especially towards the end, is actually how most video game projects, movie projects, TV projects, comic book projects, etc., are actually created and written, as you'll see.
Multiple magic trees, deep RPG elements. We got labyrinths and quests and parkour and boss battles, and it's going to look gorgeous.
Sounds great. Look, we really, really need a hit right now. I mean, desperate. You know what? Let's do it. You have everything that you need from us. When can you get started for us, Bill?
Not me. I'm just like the big picture kind of guy, but I've got a staff writer for you.
Okay.
He's great. He's worked actually on a couple of your other games before. Jimmy! Jim.
This Jimmy guy, this guy, I'm pretty sure is the one who worked on some of the stuff that's come out lately.
Jimmy, come in here.
Jimmy, I'm not familiar.
Jimmy, say hello to the nice man.
Hello.
Are you ready to get started on Forspoken?
Are these crayons?
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready to start on Foreskin. I write real good.
This is the writer for the whole game.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
Ooh, he's a fuck
person in front of Jimmy, because he will just repeat it forever. So unless that's what you want your entire script to be, I would not do that. Okay, just give him.
And speaking of which, yeah, I haven't watched the entirety of Forspoken's playthrough, but yeah, she drops F-bombs every other word, so that's the entirety of the script.
Miss Krantz, and it'll be great.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy, are you eating? Is he eating the crayons?
Not the paper, okay?
Oh my God, we are so screwed.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's funny because it's true.
Of that terrible Wolfenstein game that came out that was like a sequel, and it was about
with the two twin. Oh
that
God,
was super cringeworthy.
That was terrible, and the dialogue was so bad.
So bad.
Oh, I hated that one.
Why would they do that? Why don't people not understand that you can have a male protagonist, a white protagonist, a badass action movie, and whatever you want to do, but also have kind of clever socio-political commentary scattered throughout. I mean, John Romero does that, or John Carpenter does that. What about Dread? That movie is a badass
That movie was great.
Great freaking action movie, like hardcore, like no bull, doesn't pull any punches, but there's still a little commentary there, about like the poor and like how the people are suffering in this world, and like the Corp is like this corrupt, organization. It's like, shit, you can do that, Hollywood. You don't need to fuck around with switching up characters and stuff just to make it so obvious and blatant. I hate it.
I agree. I agree. Oh, and,
and that's the tragedy of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you've got a guy like Carpenter who can do that. You know, and he's done it many times. He's really good at it, and you're just going to leave him out so that.
Wait. But before we go any further with this, I'll let you finish. But I gotta. Snowdub is my other guy out there who I work with, and so I gotta say hello. So, hey, Snowdubs, good to see you. And
go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
There we go. Gotta give him his shout out. Continue.
That's a great scene, by the way.
I love that movie. It's probably my favorite Western of all time.
Yeah, that's the only movie that probably ever had me look up a word because I didn't know what smoke wagon was.
Yeah, it's another name for your gun.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot what I was saying, but
he says like 3 times draw your gun. But he says go ahead, skin that smoke wagon, see what happens. Okay, that means draw. And he says, I said throw down, boy, which throw down means pull your gun, or jerk that pistol and go to work. Yeah, that's 3 times he told him.
Yeah, full circle because Kurt Russell escaped.
Yep. Monkey, we can't be friends anymore. What do you mean Carpenter isn't always good? You name me a bad John Carpenter film, Monkey Jeebus.
Ghost of Mars?
Ghost of Mars was fun. Ghost of Mars was fun.
I still like Ghost of Mars.
I like Ghost of Mars.
I like it. Yeah. Carpenter isn't always consistent. I wouldn't say he's always good, but he isn't always good. He's just not always consistent. He's a great storyteller.
Yes.
Much like Robert E. Howard was a great storyteller. He could tell a story, and Carpenter can too, to knock anybody's socks off. It's the delivery and the execution sometimes it falters, I think. But I mean, I'm a Carpenter fan. I always will be. I mean, I just love the fact that the guy started as a truck driver and was a nobody. And, he made Halloween, and he went to the studio and said, I've got this script. I want to make this, but you don't have to pay me. He did it without any paycheck and said, the only thing I ask is we change the title to John Carpenter's Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is a freaking genius, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's. I wish he was still making more movies, but
Well, he's not a young man anymore either, by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but I mean, it's kind of funny because I was watching this on Echo Chamberlain the other day, but he's talking about saying goodbye to a lot of our favorite actors and stuff, and he pointed out that De Niro's getting old. He's probably fixing to retire. Brad Pitt is, approaching his 60s, I think. So he's getting up there. John Williams is in his 90s, I think.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Just think of the death rate that we're going to see over the next 10 years, too. Who's going to fall off the cliff? It's going to be rough for our generation.
Yeah. Harrison Ford, we know, is not a spring chicken, but he ain't stopping. I don't know, man. You were saying, Dan Weed? I'm sorry, I feel like we cut you off.
Yeah, I walked all over you. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna, talking about the people passing on and stuff like that. Bruce Willis, recently that it came out with his diagnosis, and which I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's essentially a form of dementia. He's going to be gone. This is John McClane from Die Hard, man. It's like, I remember not having any expectations, not even knowing anything about this movie, just knowing, oh, it's the guy from Moonlighting, and going and seeing it by myself in a theater in '88 and being blown away. I had to convince friends that, I was like, no, you need to come see this movie. I think I saw that movie 3 times in the theater.
And he was like 15 years younger than most of us in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. I remember when Die Hard came out, my cousin was raving to me about it, how I needed to go see it. And I was like, dude, Yeah, that's the stupidest fucking title for a film I've ever heard of. Die Hard is a fucking battery. Plus, this is old, or this is over the hill, balding actor, trying to sell me on an action movie when he comes from like Moonlighting. Come on, ain't no way. Well, dumbass me, because eventually I got around to seeing it on cable, and I was floored by it, and I was like, I'm gonna have to eat every fucking word I just said.
Yeah, my roommate in college, I mean, I had to beg the guy to go see it. You got to go see this movie with me. And he, like you, just did not want to know it's the guy from Moonlighting. This is going to be shit. Went and saw it and just come out of there. He was like, oh my God, that was like one of the best movies I've ever seen. Yeah.
Your mic went weird on me. Was it just me, or Ryan, did you hear it too?
Yeah, you went a little soft, Dying Breed.
Like it.
Okay. How's that?
Whoa.
Too much?
There you go.
Too much? That better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Sorry.
It was weird. It was like it was cutting in and out.
Okay.
We're all playing audio amateur hour tonight. So.
Yeah, I've been having some trouble with my mic recently.
Elle said Dick Van Dyke 97 was singing on The Masked Singer. I actually just read an article about Dick Van Dyke. And in true Dick Van Dyke-ese, he said the secret to his longevity and success is he has a wife that is literally less than half his age. So, Topher Grace, Robert Pattinson, these are not... I don't know. Topher... I'm going to give both of these guys a pass. Pattinson's Batman was fair. And Topher Grace is always like a sleeper, what was the terrible Predator movie that he was in? He was possibly one of the best characters in that film. So, I don't know. We love you, Elle, but we don't always have to agree. We were talking about that before.
But Elle kind of brings up a point. Something I was thinking about earlier is who carries the torch now?
Yeah.
Like Ryan said, in the next 10 years is like, well, what do we do after that? Who's out there?
There's not an action hero right now. There's not a Schwarzenegger. There's not.
No, there's not.
The closest thing we have is The Rock.
Yeah.
Are you guys discounting Chris Pratt?
I was trying to say Chris Pratt. Yeah.
Chris Pratt is also a fairly conservative guy. He's not, he's not a Hollywood nutso.
He is, but he's not like a leading machismo man's man action hero type. He does very well with what he does, but I'm talking like straight up testosterone fueled 100% going. Like Chris Pratt has his nuance, which is great. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I like Pratt. I do love
Top Gun 3. I still have to see Top Gun Maverick. I know I'm way behind the curve on that, but
I haven't.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I always have a hard time because Zimu is my homeboy, and I can't get past that with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I have to admit that's one of the reasons I dislike Tom Cruise is the Zimu connection. But I'm not kidding. But I did come out of my shell and actually watch a couple of Tom Cruise movies that even he couldn't ruin, as far as I'm concerned, because I've always maintained that Tom Cruise is a shitty actor. Tom Cruise gets on screen and he plays Tom Cruise. In The Last Samurai, even he couldn't fuck that up. But basically, he was Tom Cruise imitating Clint Eastwood in The Outlaw Josie Wales. Because he was. He even admitted it. Collateral, that was a good movie. Jamie Foxx was in it too, and Jamie Foxx was also good in it, but Cruise was actually good in Collateral. But that's because they pretty much told Tom Cruise, is like, hey, guess what? You get to play a psychotic assassin, go wild. And it's kind of like, for some reason, that really fit him. Kind of scary.
I'm sure that there is something on the meters that helped him out.
I'm pretty sure either that or the drugs were good that day.
Well, he doesn't believe in psychology. So.
No, he doesn't. Meteor Advocate says Keanu Reeves is the new Charles Bronson. There is no new Charles Bronson. Okay, I have researched Charles Bronson pretty extensively. Charles Buczynski there's nobody like him. There never will be anybody like him ever again. Charles Buczynski came from a coal mining family that was so fucking broke. He literally had to go to school wearing one of his sister's dresses one day. And he went to work in a coal mine when he was like, big enough to swing a pick. He didn't speak any English when he came to this country because he's, I think his family's Croatian. But the dude, he went to World War II. He fought in World War II, came back to the United States, started picking up acting roles. And, he was a man of very few words, but he was a legitimate tough motherfucker. I mean, literally, on the set of Hard Times where he plays like a bare knuckle boxer, the guy said, Charles Bronson smoked more cigarettes than anybody else on that set, but he could have taken anybody on that set. I mean, he would have had to do it quick because he probably would have run out of gas pretty quick because of all the cigarettes, but he was that tough. He was a legitimate tough guy, and he was still working out and kicking ass all the way up to his 60s and 70s when he was doing Death Wish movies and stuff. There's never going to be another Charles Bronson.
I think a lot of folks, when it comes to Bronson, that he gets pigeonholed into Death Wish because that's all they know too.
Mm-hmm. He did a lot of westerns.
I love that you love Charles Bronson because I've never met anyone before that can go back through and be like, oh, this is Charles Bronson. So when I tried to, show folks other stuff beyond Death Wish, they just won't do it because that's all they see. It's the tunnel. Danny Trejo is kind of the new Charles Bronson, but not.
But he's not a spring chicken either. He's in his 70s. So he's on his way out too, Monkey Jeebus. And Trejo was in a film with Charles Bronson. He was in Death Wish 4 with Charles Bronson. I remember. So, yeah.
Of course you do.
My Charles Bronson memory is good, man. The Valaki Papers, The Evil That Men Do, Death Hunt, all the Death Wish films, all 5 of them. Jesus, man. Chateau, or I should say Chato's Land. Yeah, I'm a Charles Bronson fan. I even watched him when I watched the Elvis movie because I'm an Elvis fan anyway. But I watched GI Blues because I knew Charles Bronson was in it, even though he had kind of a smaller part. Yeah, Charles Bronson was. There's never going to be anybody like him again because we don't have that anymore. It's like we were saying earlier, like the football legends of yesteryear versus the football legends now. We don't have any legitimate tough guys now. Keanu is decent, but
he's up there in age too, though.
Yeah, he's up there in age too.
Would you say they're a dying breed?
Very much so. Very much so. Very much so.
I think we're dipping into pro wrestling waters. The Rock and Cena are possibly the closest to modern action heroes that we have right now, and neither of them are young men either.
They are legit tough dudes. Because of their wrestling jabs.
Oh, sure. Just to maintain that physique, that's discipline, but I need someone to blow a lot of shit up for about 4 movies and make no bones about it, smoke cigarettes while you're doing it, eat a fucking raw steak, and bang the bitches. And we don't have that. And I don't think we're going to see it for a while.
It looks like Adam Driver is trying to be a badass action hero in that new movie 65. Have you seen the trailer for that?
Yeah, but he has the face.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, not that this is anything to look at, but that it would be equivalent of this being on a feature film screen. No one wants to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This summer, Ryan David stars.
Oh, jeez. No, but seriously, we go to the movies and watch movies because we want to see beautiful, over-the-top, exaggerated things. I don't want to go to the movies and see my next-door neighbor. I don't want to go to the movies and look in the mirror. I want to see big tits. I want to see big muscles. I want to see all of that because it's an escape, right? If I wanted to go and see Adam Driver, I'd go to the mall. So
Yeah, exactly.
So what about Vin Diesel then?
Vin's getting up there in age.
Yeah, he's about my age. So yeah, he's around 50, give or take. I don't know exactly.
He's almost 60.
Is he that old?
I think so. Hang on, let me check. But the other thing too is they've been complaining about him because those Fast and Furious movies. They say that he's not working out like he's supposed to, so he's getting fat and he's harder to work with. And
Well, I mean, come on, look at me. The guy's he's older than me.
He's
but
55.
did he ever really have that charisma either? And I know we have to tread lightly in our hobby because Vin plays D&D, but
yeah,
I never had that draw. He didn't have that.
Oh, he did for me.
Did he?
He did for me. Pitch Black. Pitch Black was freaking awesome.
See, I never got the it factor from Vin.
The third Riddick movie was great. The second one was just like, what the hell happened?
I have to just quickly say, sorry, I had a mild internet cutout or whatever. I have to step out now and leave, but thank you for letting me on. It was nice to meet all of you guys, and thank you, Chad, for listening.
All right, you too, man.
Man, I was happy to have you on here, Fat Steven. I'm always happy to have you on, and we don't talk as much as we used to, but we need to.
That's okay. You can just subscribe to my YouTube channel and claim a gifted membership because there's still a bunch there lingering.
I think I am actually subscribed to your YouTube channel, and I think I am also a membership there.
Okay, just grifting.
You grifter! Everybody out there, please subscribe to Fat Steven Seagal. He needs more subs.
So I can.
He's a good guy.
More people. Yes. You have a good evening, guys. I'll see you in the next future.
Good night.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye.
After Dark. Is Henry Cavill beautiful enough for me? Henry Cavill would be possibly a contender for that testosterone-fueled macho man. Yes.
He could be. He could
but
be.
he's making some really bad career decisions lately.
Yeah. Cavill is really good. Momoa.
Momoa doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
He's missing something.
Exactly, and I don't know what it is. I mean, he's got the look.
Even though he was Conan, he's still missing something.
Yeah, that was not a good Conan movie by any stretch of the imagination. Even Andre from Midnight's Edge kind of pinned me to the corner and made me admit that it was not a good movie. And I was one of the people saying, but it was kind of good. He was like, but was it really? Okay, no, it wasn't.
Momoa plays it too straight. And yeah, he has leanings, but again, we're talking Hollywood mafia anyhow, so they're all going to have their leanings. But he publicly tries to pander, and it comes off, for me at least, as very insincere. There was this whole deal with They Them Ezra when the Flash movie came out. It was, he made all of these very limp-wristed, very vanilla, very middle-of-the-road tweets of support, which is what he's supposed to do, but it's not what I want that guy to do.
And whoever mentioned Van Damme is like, yeah, Van Damme is old, guys. There's no way. Okay, now... At one time, I thought about maybe that guy from Vikings, but he can't act.
Skarsgård?
No, Alexander Skarsgård is okay.
Yeah, he's decent.
But he's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally.
The whole family is weird.
The whole family is kind of weird. I don't ever really see him... I don't really see him carrying a movie that much.
I don't know. The Northman was pretty damn good.
No, that was a damn good movie, but see, that's like a special thing. Do you remember his Tarzan? Did you go see his Tarzan movie?
No.
Exactly. I'm talking about like an actor. Okay, Schwarzenegger. Did you miss a Schwarzenegger film when they came out back in the day?
No.
See?
No.
Even the shitty ones. Even the
shitty early ones.
Yes.
I would have to wait for my grandfather to take me to the theater because you can't go see that. That's rated R. Dumb Dave, my dad. But I would wait for Pap because, come on, Ryan, let's go, and we're gonna see him blow some shit up, and And sure enough, we went and, we saw him blow some shit up. I remember I saw Commando in the theater when it released at an age where I was way too young to have seen that film because of my grandfather. So...
And that's too bad because I have a grandson now, and I really want to do that sort of thing with him in the future. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any movies to take him to.
You can take him to Drag Queen Bingo.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard Tulsa King is really good. I want to see it. I don't want to buy Paramount Plus, but maybe I will because I love Yellowstone. So
if you're a T-Mobile subscriber, they just cut a deal with Paramount Plus for the On Us deal. You can get that instead of Netflix or any of the other offerings that they have. So that might be an option for you.
The guy from Reacher, you don't even know his name.
That guy.
That guy. Who is he? You don't even know his name. That tells me a lot right there. I don't even know his name. Alan Richson. If he's any good, how come I haven't heard more? Maybe. I mean, maybe it's his first show. I don't know. Alan Richson. Who else? I did think Nick Cage, but he's getting up there in age.
No, Nick Cage. No, not an action guy. He pulled off National Treasure really well. Kind of the modern day Indiana Jones kind of thing going on.
Willy's Wonderland and Mandy were real good, though.
Willy's Wonderland was really, really good. Yeah. I was completely surprised about how entertaining that film was.
Yeah, it's shocking. You know who's I was just thinking about this guy the other day, the guy they tried to pump up as an action star and he never went anywhere. And probably because his name was shit as much as anything else, but Jai Courtney.
Oh yeah.
See? Everybody's like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that him.
What? Now you're just making shit up.
No, it's Jai Courtney. Whatever happened to Jai Courtney?
Jai Courtney. Yeah, that's the name. I've never heard of this.
Exactly. Terminator Genesis. He was the lead in Terminator Genesis, and then he was just kind of like, Sam Worthington. What happened to that
Terminator
guy?
Genesis. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Sam
There were
Worthington.
a lot of guys.
Yeah,
Go
they
ahead, T-shirt,
tried. No, you're right. They tried to push them, but it never happened.
I have heard of Sam Worthington at least.
Yeah. I think I've seen like 3 Sam Worthington films because they tried to push the hell out of him for a little while, and then I was just kind of like,
There were a couple of guys that fell into that mold where they were getting that rub and it just didn't take off. Ethan Hawke comes to mind, right? He could have been a great leading guy. And not that he's bad. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw The Black Phone. I thought he was great in Black Phone. But again, he's past it. We're pushing. He's out of action hero age territory.
yeah, he's on the wrong side of 40.
Yep.
As they say. I mean, there were a lot of guys who had their moment and they missed it, and they're never going to get it back. And what we have looking forward is kind of like not great.
Well, somebody will come out of the woodwork, right? I mean, I don't know.
We keep hoping.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, how committed is Hollywood going to be to making action movies?
I love Thomas Jane still, but he's old.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want a fun, like Ryan was talking about, just an action movie, no woke agenda, who's out there? Well, pretty much nobody.
The one guy I thought might have a chance was Ben Foster, but he hasn't really been in much. I mean, lately. I mean,
that name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, like Medieval. That was the last thing that he was in.
Okay.
And I haven't seen that movie.
But I mean, until Hollywood starts making fun action movies again, I mean, there's not really a demand for somebody to fill that role. I guess my point. I mean, there needs to be a demand for that role to be filled, right. And then they'll find somebody, and it'll be it'll be like Schwarzenegger. It'll be somebody you've never heard of before, and then boom, here it is. And then he'll take the world by storm. Gerard
Butler is old, monkey. He's in his 60s.
I was even going to float Stephen Amell, but he's getting there, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at. I mean, Idris Elba is a great actor, and he could pull off an action thing. But I don't know how old he is. I think he's up there.
He's in his 50s.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think he's on the wrong side of 40 again.
Yeah. Sam is in Avatar. He was just in Avatar. Yeah, but he's not in front of the camera, really. He's green screened and shit. I mean, Sam is in Avatar 2 only because he was in Avatar 1, which means if that's his career for the next 9 movies, is 9 Avatar films, that ain't a career. Okay, I mean, he just doesn't have a career anymore, I don't think. Whatever happened to Leon Trotsky? Who? You mean the guy who wrote War and Peace?
I was just looking up Jason Statham, and then I realized, well, he's older than I am.
He's old.
Yeah.
He's old.
He's 55.
What shocked me was seeing how old Jet Li is because I'm like, oh my god, that all if they've been on an Expendables movie, they're old.
Oh.
Look at how old the Expendables is now. Terry Crews, old.
Oh yeah.
All those guys are old, man, and they ain't getting any younger.
Dude, you're making me sad.
I'm making you sad, but at the same time, I'm also just kind of like waking people up and making them realize, it's like, guys, is there anything to look forward to?
That doesn't help.
I mean, I'm already at that point where it's like, yeah, I'm watching old movies and buying old movies and watching those. It's like, it's like, okay. Here's one. Who could replace Bruce Campbell?
Oh, nobody can replace Bruce Campbell.
Exactly.
Nobody.
Well,
the chin alone. The chin alone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs, but I agree. I'm watching probably 5 or 6 to 1 old stuff to new stuff now. So,
yeah,
and that's across the board. That's not just movies. That's sitcoms. Like, my wife and I sat down and we watched the first season of Fantasy Island. So
Ricardo.
It just as a laugh, but it was entertaining, and sure, it was formulaic and we knew what was going on, but as a throwaway 45-minute show, when we didn't want to invest in something and we didn't want, well, do you want to start a new series, do you want to watch this new show and get invested and no, we wanted to put something on. So our filler was Fantasy Island.
Now we do have the Hemsworth brothers.
That's okay.
They're still kind of young. Chris is 39.
Yeah.
And then the other one's going to be the new Witcher.
Luke is 42.
Liam,
and then Liam is the youngest. I think he's 33. Liam needs to pack on some muscle, man. Leon needs to go, get on the same exercise regimen that his brother is, because, he doesn't have Chris's good looks. So,
Supplements. It's all in the supplements.
That and just eating a lot of chicken all the time. I'm serious.
Eating a lot of chicken.
I'm serious. I mean, he's like, it's like if you Chris Hemsworth, apparently when he was putting in all that work for Thor to get that body and everything, he was like eating chicken all the time.
Give me 5 pounds of chicken and 50 cc's.
Yeah. Get some special supplements there, some human growth hormone and shit. Okay, Brolin. Brolin is my age, L. He is 50. So I like Josh Brolin. I like Josh Brolin a lot. But yeah, he is literally my age, and I think about me getting up there and trying to do the shit that he does, and I'm just like, wow. But he's got some more time. I mean, he's got about another maybe 20 years. depending on how Hollywood de-aging and everything works. But he's not a young, hungry action star that can, they can build franchises on, and they don't really have anybody like that. And certainly you're not going to go to the theater and watch, some 105-pound, underwear model, whooping 230-pound, bodybuilders' asses on screen and go, oh, that's totally believable.
Well,
Don't
but I mean,
piss off the barista.
But I mean,
Yes.
T-shirt. I mean, none of these things were ever believable.
No, that's true.
And you get a 105-pound female lead in there. I mean, it's possible. At one time, I thought Zoe Saldana was going to be one of those. And,
I
and
did too.
she kind of has been a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. But she, what was the one she did?
I remember the one. Yeah, I can't remember the name, but yeah, I remember that movie.
Colombiana. Colombiana, yeah. Where they tried to do that with her and stuff. I mean, she's good.
Gina Carano is not bad.
Yeah,
but
she's been blacklisted. She's never gonna.
No,
Yeah, there's 50% of people that just won't go see anything she has in.
Right. Yeah.
If her name's on it, it's done, and
Right.
it's just the stupid tribalism stuff.
Yeah. Rousey is. I don't know.
Rousey. No.
No.
I loved her when she was in the ring. Keep her out of movies.
Yeah.
When she was in the ring, she had that appeal. My buddy and I used to use the phrase "hot nuts" for Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
But as she's been out of the ring, and she did like the pro wrestling thing and the modeling thing, and then the allure of this bitch that can kick your ass is gone. You realize that she's like a mediocre woman with average acting ability. So,
yeah. And I loved her back in the day, but she was a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rodriguez. Armbar.
And that's what killed her career in UFC too.
Michelle Rodriguez is she's 44. She looks good, but she's already starting to get a little bit chunky. If you look at her in the D&D movie, she looks like she's had a few burritos.
With tuna fish and lettuce.
Yeah, but they were tuna fish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tuna fish and lettuce.
That's the other thing. It's not just the guys. It's not just us wanting the testosterone-filled thing. I was talking with a group of friends a couple weeks ago, and we were saying, there's not that dreamy Hollywood starlet anymore. We get Jennifer Lawrence. God willing, she keeps her mouth shut.
There were no female action stars before Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, they just didn't exist.
I mean, there are reasons for her to open her mouth, but I don't want to get you demonetized. So
you can find that on her leaked iPhone pictures.
Oh no, she's going to start an OnlyFans.
But there's not a dreamy Hollywood starlet anymore.
No, there isn't. There isn't. And I don't know why. I mean, is it just no talent coming out of Hollywood? Is it being marketed badly? Is it?
No, I think it's a reflection of. It's the old adage that hard times create strong men, and strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. And I think we're in that cycle where we're not going to have those types of people for the foreseeable future. The Bronsons of the world that came up the hard way and got into Hollywood, you're never going to have that.
No.
Not in this country, not in the U.S., because the conditions are such that it doesn't breed people like that anymore.
Yeah.
And for the same reason, I think the dreamy starlet, I think that's kind of the thing too. Everybody, we got to go for the girl next door look. And instead of just, the icon of beauty that no man can attain, the Ingrid Bergmans of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it doesn't even have to go back that far. I'm the last person that I could honestly say, oh, she was dreamy, was pre-Marvel, like Scarlett Johansson, right? And so even that's throwing it back 20 years.
Cardinal, I will agree with you. Ana de Armas is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. And a pretty talented actress. It'd be nice to see her getting some more work. It really would. I don't know why she doesn't, but
I like Anya Taylor-Joy a lot. I don't know that she has dreamy starlet quality, but I like Anya Taylor-Joy a lot.
I don't know, man. It's scary to think about, and I hate to start another one of those T-shirt predictions for the future, because sometimes they've been a little bit too close here lately. But here's my thought. And it may take about 10 to 15 years for this to fully materialize and become a thing. But if talent continues to decline and film continues to decline and technology continues to improve, it may come down to the point where stars who are aging out of roles or are aging period and can't do these parts anymore may start doing the Mark Hamill thing and licensing out their likenesses to be used in CG productions and stuff like that, because we already got Mark Hamill with Disney. They digitized Harrison Ford pretty extensively for the new indie movie because he's breaking bones and shit on the set. He's old. But
yeah,
I mean,
you can't have Indiana Jones snapping a hip.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, and imagine this, like in 15 years, imagine a Schwarzenegger movie with a young, buff ass Schwarzenegger doing perfect voice imitation, perfect look, everything, just like he was way back in in 82 in an action film. But it could happen. I mean, all he's got to do is sign the paper, get scanned digitally, speak enough lines into the AI thing, and.
Well, I mean, it goes back to you mentioned De Niro earlier. I mean, did you ever see The Irishman by Scorsese?
That was an insanely good movie.
It was an insanely good movie, and they used a ton of AI de-aging. You get the young Robert De Niro and the young Pesci, and these guys were old when they made this movie, and yeah, it's exactly what you're speaking to.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it happening.
I honestly think that the future of the film industry is overseas. I don't think it's American Hollywood anymore.
Really? Yeah, it might be.
Some of the best damn movies that are coming out are foreign films.
I
mean, recently, modern stuff. And I can't think of any examples to give you right now off the top of my head. But
RRR.
Yeah, I mean, there's good stuff, and there's innovative stuff, and there's kind of a throwback to 20, 30 years ago what Hollywood was doing. That stuff's coming out now, from Eastern Europe, Asia, Western Europe to an extent.
They're still hungry over there.
Yeah, Russian films. I mean, that's where the future of movies probably lie. I mean, I don't know, but
you're going to get blacklisted. Free Ukraine. Send them $20.
Well, okay. Oh, I forgot to mention all the great Ukrainian actors that are out there.
Well, there's one in particular I can think of that does a fantastic job. But no, I agree. Did you guys watch 1899 last year when it came out?
I have not seen that yet. I've got that on my Plex server.
Yeah, it's the guys that did Dark, and I thought it was a vast improvement on Dark. But it was, again, it had the bottom pulled out from under it with Netflix. So that's the other thing that we're up against is the studios and the cancellation cycle trying to manufacture a bottom line because the stuff they're producing isn't selling. The new, innovative, and often overseas stuff is the first that's going to get the plug pulled. So,
yeah, I mean that's probably an effect of the domination of the American Hollywood industry. But I mean, hasn't that kind of always been the way in Hollywood? Sure. You know, we'll throw this out there. We'll throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Well, you know, this isn't any good. This isn't any good. This isn't any good. Hey, this one got some traction, and so they go with that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing.
I think it's interesting to see the influx of people that are watching Korean TV and movies now too, which I can't fathom.
That's picking up.
It's
ever since Parasite won an Oscar.
Right.
I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just feel like Asian and Russian and foreign movies in general, they tend to lean far more into their native audience than Hollywood does. Like China, like 9 out of the top 10 movies that are going to be in the top 10 in the theater are going to be some kind of really historical epic about the Great Wall, like, some kind of famous battle that took place where it's very nationalist. It's like that doesn't appeal at all to me as an American. Or like, and Korean stuff, more complex for sure. There's a lot of cool horror movies and kaiju movies and stuff, and like horror movies, stuff like that. But still, there's a lot of historical stuff and a lot of very cultural stuff that just doesn't click with me. And I just think that's probably why Hollywood is going to continue to dominate, because they produce movies that more people around the world are into.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Except for the fact that it's, I'm kind of talking more about the future here. I think that's where the future lies. I think eventually somebody overseas is going to figure out, hey, maybe we need to stop doing the nationalist thing and do something with a broader appeal. Sooner or later, somebody's going to have that thought if they haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually enough of that will get made and some of it's going to take hold. And Hollywood's kind of like, it's a bad comparison, but Hollywood's kind of like the Walmart of the entertainment world, and they're the dominating beast. But dude, there's no denying that they're on the downward incline.
They are. It's funny. This week I did pick up a couple of old movies. I picked up an old movie from '86 called Avenging Force with Michael Dudikoff, which if you haven't seen it, it's bonkers fun.
I vaguely remember that movie. I remember the title for sure. I can almost see the VHS cover.
Is that the one that was like in the swamp in Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, where he's being hunted in the swamp.
Fire up the cam t-shirt. Fire up the cam. Let's see it.
All right. Well, let me see. Hang on. Let me get the cam. Actually, I got a couple of new ones here. You have to kind of ignore. I've got some junk up here. But, okay. So, yeah.
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah. And I actually managed to find a copy of Force 5 with the late Joe Louis and Benny the Jet Urquidez and this Australian actor who is in Richard Norton, who is in his 60s now. He's good. This guy who I don't know who that is, and some chick I don't know, but yeah, this was his attempt to do a Bruce Lee style, infiltrate the island fortress and take out the master type thing.
Yeah.
But and they're both good movies. I mean, and they're old, obviously. But the one thing I really remember that was funny, that I always thought was great about Avenging Force, was this scene in particular. Right here. Look at that kid he's holding. Look at that kid he's holding. Yeah. He gets shot in the leg and that kid was dead when he threw all of his weight on top of him to begin with.
God, that's just another Saturday night in my neighborhood.
But yeah, you won't see movies like this anymore where they have like, the dummy and, crashing.
Unless they're doing it for the comedic effect.
Well, yeah. And for a while there were a lot of movies coming out that were deliberately done retro like that, without all the computer effects and stuff like that, just as a love letter to those kind of films. And I kind of would like to see more of those films come back. Because, I think audiences are a little tired of all the CG nonsense, I think.
Yeah, keep wishing.
Yeah. Well, that's all I can do.
Yeah, that's all we can all do. But it's not going to happen, man.
No. I shed a tear in advance because Mel Brooks is doing History of the World Part 2 now. And just knowing the world that we're in, it's going to destroy part of his legacy. It's like, I want a Mel Brooks movie. I want a Zucker movie, but they're not. They just can't be made.
They can't. Exactly. No, they can't.
I would not be surprised if he quits halfway through the film because of all the problems that they give him.
I don't think he'll do that.
You don't think so? Well,
nah, he's old school, man. He'll write it out. He'll do what he needs to do. But Ryan's right. I mean, it's okay. It's Mel Brooks in name,
right? But he is old school. He's made his money. He could say, "Fuck you, I'm done," and walk away from it. I don't know. I want to recapture just some of the ability to laugh or enjoy or blow stuff up or poke fun at everybody and not micro-analyze it to find what the problem is. Oh, you said this word. Oh, you said this. You offended this group. You did this. Yeah, because we're offending everybody and we're doing that to everybody. Nothing is off limits.
Cardinal said Donnie Yen is a savior of martial arts movies. No, he's not. Donnie Yen is in his 60s, buddy. He's of that same era of Jackie Chan. He's just slightly behind him in age. Donnie Yen is quite old, my friend. Believe me, as somebody who kind of grew up with a lot of Hong Kong cinema. And yes, I remember the bean scene from Blazing Saddles. I love Blazing Saddles. I've watched that movie many, many times.
And I was just going to say to Ryan that when Mel Brooks makes Blazing Saddles Part 2, please let me know.
Yeah.
The sheriff's a what?
The sheriff is ding.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys. Well, we're up over our 2 hours, and I don't know. I think this is a nice tour of depression. I don't know if it was necessarily uplifting.
It's the week. I'm just gonna go to bed.
Yeah, it is. I don't think it was all negative. But certainly there is. It's kind of a bleak look at what we've got coming. Because I don't know what we have.
Well, let's end positive. What was good this week, right?
What was good this week? I haven't caught up on Last of Us.
I've got to have it in my notes somewhere here.
Yeah. What was well, other than me getting some miniatures painted, I do have a Scarlet Heroes game again tomorrow. We are moving the time. I talked it over with Jim, and in order to include more folks, he has agreed to moving it up to 3 p.m. Eastern time, which is 2 p.m. Central. So we have room. I've invited some other people to start playing with us. I don't know if he will make it tomorrow or not. I think he said he might. So if anybody wants to play Scarlet Heroes with me and Grim, and by all means, come on in. We'll have fun with it. Ryan's having a good time with it, I think.
That could put me up against one of my other shows, but I will see what I can do. 3 p.m. might work. So
someday I'm gonna get on one of these with you guys, but it won't be tomorrow.
It's a good time. I love it because Forever DM, up until I started this, I haven't played a player character for about 3 years, so it's a nice release for me.
Yeah, John Wick 4 is coming up. Yeah, that's right. John Wick 4 on March 24th. And I still love Keanu. I really, really do.
Yep.
No L's. Scarlet Heroes is not a tabletopless production. It's a regular. I'm surprised you have not come to see it at all, but it's on this channel. Although I was in talks with Noodle, one of the actresses one of the people who is on Tabletopless with Grimm, and I believe she is going to join us for a Scarlet Heroes. However, she has already said that she's not gonna do anything on cam, so she's just there to play, and that's fine. I don't.
For the right donation, I'll take my shirt off.
I was gonna say, L. I mean, if I ever get on there, you tip right, I will. I mean, I'm totally topless, dude.
I don't even
got
throw
a
my
solid B cup here. Yeah.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I don't even put my tip link out very much because I always feel like I'm begging, but hold on. Let me throw my.
You should do it.
Tip link out there.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you got to throw that out.
The hell's it hurt?
It doesn't hurt anything. Cardinal Sin usually tips me too, so that's kind of nice. He's the only one, but
I mean, I'm not going to tip you, but go ahead.
That's fine. You're on the show.
We had this conversation in the Nerdcognito circle too, whether or not we were going to try to at least break even this year, and it was a big kerfuffle. Should we put out a link? Should we put out a coffee link? And we might do it, and I don't know. It just feels dirty, right?
Kind of, but since I'm not monetized, I don't guess it hurts anything. I always feel like it's just kind of begging for money, and I'm like, I don't really want to beg anybody for money.
Right.
But at the same time, it would be nice. I do actually have expenses as far as the show goes because I do pay for my StreamYard every month. I do pay Animane every month for working on shorts and giving me creative advice and other stuff like that because he is trying to help us get monetized. So, we do actually have expenses on the show, but
which is exactly why you should do it, T-shirt, because I mean, maybe it feels dirty, but I mean, principle doesn't pay bills. You can't you can't write a check from the bank of good intentions, man.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I'll start shilling a little bit more. And ultimately, yeah, I do want to get monetized, and that does mean hoping that people will tip. Because honestly, the YouTube money is not all that great. It is primarily the tips that YouTubers, especially live streamers, make their money on.
I mean, you've got a significant amount of people who like you. You've got a significant amount of people who follow you, and some of them are going to help out when they can. I mean, it's not like you're strong arming anybody.
True. Yeah, I don't make anybody. I don't try to tell them sob stories and all that. Oh, please tip me, or I will. I won't have any food, or because the situation's not that bad. But we are growing slowly but steadily. We're at 652 subs. It would be nice to have more. We're going to get there little by little. Tipping helps. Tipping's always nice. Tipping is good for encouragement. I mean, after all, if I want to play Atomic Heart, somebody throwing me some tips would help me get it so I could actually play it and see if it's any good or not for myself, rather than me coughing up $99. God, I don't know if I want to pay that much for it. I mean, it looks like a good game, but it looks like the kind of game where I will blow through it once, and then it'll be like, that's cool, I did it. Now I go on to something else because
That's precisely why I haven't picked it up yet. I'm like, this is a one and done.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, it looks fun. It looks like it's super enjoyable, but it only looks like it's fun while you're playing it, and only that first time.
Well, I mean, Pat Steven Seagal mentioned earlier, he blew through it in 2 days, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and a lot of the I have a habit of going onto Steam and checking the negative reviews.
That's
Because, I mean,
always a good thing.
Yeah, and the negative reviews for the most part say it's like, yeah, it's a good game, but once you beat it, you'll be done with it. So just wait till it's on sale. And I feel like that's how a lot of video games are these days. There's very few video games you can play that are created now that really make you want to go, that was fun. I want to go back and do that again.
Yeah, you're talking to a guy who's spent years modding Skyrim. So there you go.
Hey, and how many times have I gone back and played Skyrim? Let me see. Actually, let me just give me a moment here. I'll look.
It's my most played game on Steam.
I think Fallout New Vegas is mine.
Now I'm gonna check, but I know it's gonna be my 2 or 3 because it's not my number 1. My number 1 is just disgusting.
Okay, my Fallout game of the year only shows 4.4 hours, but that's a bald-faced lie because I bought it on PS3 when it was new, then I bought it on computer, then I bought it Game of the Year edition on computer, then I bought it Game of the Year on Steam. So I know I've got well over 700 hours on it.
Brian Davids is going to be Goat Simulator.
No, it's 1,431 hours. Cities Skylines.
Wow.
Now there's a story behind this too, right? A lot of that is idle time. So
yeah, that's true. There's true.
When I had a traditional 9 to 5, you guys know that I worked with. I don't care. I was an educator for almost 20 years, and being in computer science and engineering, I always had a city up and running that was just free form for the students to manipulate and run the way that they wanted to. So a lot of that time is reflected there. So
okay.
But no, half of that time I can own.
Well, let's see. I've got 1,047 hours on Fallout New Vegas. I've got 823 hours on Fallout 4. And then Skyrim, I've got 400.3 hours. And then Special Edition, I've got 229.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to bump those numbers up.
Yeah.
I do need to play Special Edition a little bit more. But
Skyrim hours. Ooh.
I only played Skyrim through until I beat it, and I haven't played it again.
Really? You didn't have a desire to go back and do it again?
No, I just because I was playing WoW at the time.
You got to go back and try it with a new character build, man. You know, if you were playing a mage, play something else.
I always play the same character. Is that ridiculous? I've
No,
got
it's
211
not.
on the original and 361 on Special Edition. So 500 hours of the same freaking character.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm over 1,000 hours on the original. I don't know what I'm at on the other one, but I always, it's like, oh, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play that. I always wind up playing a stealth guy.
My number one game on Steam is Terraria with 567 hours.
I have that game. I need to play
And my
it
number
more.
2 game is a game that I had almost everything in, had spent probably thousands of dollars on. And it was one of my favorite games of all time. And it got unceremoniously closed down forever. And that
City
was
of Heroes?
Marvel Heroes.
Oh, I was close.
Marvel
That
Heroes,
hurts when
400
you have
hours.
an investment. Yeah.
I had all the costumes. I had the Guardians of the Galaxy, all their optional costumes with the movie voices. Like, I had everything. It makes me mad. Fuck.
See, that just sucks. This own nothing and be happy crap sucks.
I've never played Terraria. It's only $10.
I've
It's
owned it
got an
and never played
insane
it.
amount of content. It's not like what you think. It is a little bit like Minecraft, but it has kind of this Metroid, almost Zelda feel where you're exploring and finding new items, and like you find something new, and it's like, whoa, this is cool. I don't know. It's just a very fun exploration game.
There was one I picked up that was similar to that I started playing and then I never got back to.
Starbound?
Starbound, yeah.
Yeah, that was made by the co-developer of Terraria who got screwed out of some money or whatever, so he left and made his own studio. And he spent like 6 years working on that game and never finished it. And I don't think it's very good.
I like it as an idea, as a concept, but it just seemed like it was pointless to do anything in it.
Yeah, like you're on a futuristic thing, you crash spaceship on an alien planet with all this technology, and you're forced to chop down trees and make bows and arrows. To me, that kind of stuff is dumb.
Mm-hmm. Now I have 319 hours on 7 Days to Die, and that is legitimately a time waster simulator. I mean, literally, because it's like you do the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, I played that one some. I think my second most played game is Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh God, yeah, I played a lot of Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, and then my third one is probably Conan Exiles. Which, I liked that game, dude.
I like it, and I have everything for it, but even with all that, it's just like it's pointless.
Yeah, but I don't. What do I say to that? I don't know. I can't convince you. It's awesome.
I feel that's how I feel about MMOs in general now. Like, I feel like I'm grinding to get more gear, so I can grind to get more gear.
Yeah.
Like, what's my end? Where's the ending?
Yeah, it's like there's no story with Conan Exiles. It's just kind of like, okay, survive. There you go.
Yeah, you make your own story. It's sandbox.
Well, yeah, it's a sandbox. You make your own story, but there's not very much to interact with other than
crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women.
Get your shit stolen by some random fucker. I don't know if Fat Steven has a Conan server, L. I don't think he does. I don't think he's ever even played Conan Exiles, to be quite honest. But the Fallout games were fun, especially New Vegas, just because depending on how you answered questions and what you said and who you interacted with and stuff like that, you could go back and replay the game over and over and over. And it was fun. I think that's why Fallout 4 probably wasn't as good as 3 or New Vegas, because 3 and New Vegas, you had that whole element of good and bad, and you could do bad things just to see if situations would come out differently and dialogue trees would come out differently and you'd get different people and stuff on your side and all that. Fallout 4, you can kind of be a prick to people, but you can't really be evil. You know what I mean?
Fallout 4 brought the whole base building into it.
Yeah.
That was the big draw for me.
Yeah, that was the big thing for it, although having to go back and help out settlements all the time was ridiculous.
It's one of the things I love about Bethesda. For all the flack that they get, and bug Bethesda and all this, I mean, the games they make replayable as hell.
Yeah, they are. They're fun. Even Skyrim, even though as many times as I've gone back and done it, it's still fun to go back. Although I tell you, the one quest I absolutely hate to the point where I just don't want to play it is the stupid answering the summons call or quest where you have to climb the fucking mountain to get up to the guys on there so they can teach you the words. And you absolutely have to do that quest because that's the only way you can learn the words.
And it takes forever because then you have to go here and then do the shout and then go here and do the shout.
Yeah, it's just, I wish there was a way to bypass that.
I loved it.
Console.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That's the only part I don't like. But everything else is pretty fun. I mean, exploring the dungeons is not too bad, sort of. They do get a little bit samey, but
now
that's everything.
Do you play Skyrim on PC or a console?
PC.
Okay. Have you modded it?
A little bit, and probably not as much as I could. I mean,
Ryan, don't
modded a
make that
bunch.
face, man.
I have to make that face. I'm such a vanilla person, and I've played with mods, and I've played some of the it became its own game, the Forgotten City or something like that. One was good, but yeah.
Oh, there's some really killer mods out there, man. You can make Skyrim into like a hardcore replica, or as close to a hardcore replication of first edition AD&D from the 70s.
Wow.
As a video game can be. I mean, you can get into darker dungeon stuff where, you know, you've got to have a torch or you ain't seeing anything. You can increase difficulty on combat. You can increase the AI on opponents for combat.
Yeah, but then you're not playing Skyrim anymore.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. It's house rules, man.
Well, hopefully before I'm too old to, be put in a nursing home, they'll come out with, the next one.
Oh, well, I mean, they'll do something.
5-6 years. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how many damn times I've bought the game.
Exactly. But I mean, with all them retreading everything all the time and releasing new editions, it's like I really wish they'd go back and redo Fallout 3. They don't have to go back and redo the entire game and change it out. All I would like for them to do is two very simple things. One, update it so that it works fully compatibly with modern machines and doesn't have all the crashing bullshit, because I have a whole lot less crashes with New Vegas. And that was a buggier game, in my opinion. The other thing I'd like for them to do is fix the guns to where you can actually aim down the sights. Because that's the only thing that Fallout 3 was really missing is and you get used to it when you're playing New Vegas because you can aim down the sights from the beginning. But, I loved Fallout 3. It was so much fun. It was so quirky, and the music was so epic, and it's just the landmarks were fun to. It was fun to see like the big boy in the distance and start traveling that way and fighting your way to it, and then finding out, oh look, it's a thing full of slavers. I loved it, man. Hell, every time I play Fallout 3 in New Vegas and everything else, I want to start running my Darwin's World game again, because that was fun. I really have a thing for post-apocalyptic settings. I don't know why. I do. And a lot of people don't like them.
That's why I'm making my game that way.
Is it post-apocalyptic?
Yeah, of course it is.
Awesome.
It's called Titans of Fallen Earth. The Earth has fallen.
Yay.
You've lost. You did not cancel the apocalypse.
The apocalypse canceled you.
Yeah.
It's a shame you don't have, 3,000 miles between you. My next campaign that we're going to run is a post-apocalyptic high fantasy game, hybrid, where we're going to run it with 13th Age rules, but it starts in present-day Cleveland, Ohio, and then there's a cataclysmic event, and the characters actually don't know they're playing fantasy characters yet, so if you're listening, you didn't hear this. But they're gonna. This event is going to take them, and then based on the first 2 or 3 sessions that we have that are modern, how they develop their personalities, I'm going to hand them bullet point options. Here's your checklist, because in this cataclysmic event, you are now in this worlds colliding sort of thing, and people had race shifts and class shifts and all that sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting. No technology exists anymore, but there's remnants of all the old world, and sword and sorcery. So.
Nice. I may
it's
just
a short drive from Texas.
Yeah. Well, maybe during the summer when I have time off. But L keeps bringing up the Men RPG. L, I haven't actually bought Men. I probably will today because I have paid finally. But I did hear Bruce Lombardo reading through Men, and all I'm going to say is it reminds me of a lot of the joke module type splat stuff that Mongoose used to release, like the Player's Guide to Angry Gamers or Angry DMs or Player's Guide to Women and all that stuff. Like
there's
Grim
no way
Jim-
you can read it and not know that it's absolute just a laugh.
Yeah. It's purely satirical. I mean, I wish Grim was on to talk about it because Grim wrote some of that stuff. But yeah, it's like it's absolutely not a game you're gonna play. I don't even think you could play it for a laugh because I don't think anybody could take it seriously.
Which is why I'm never going to buy it. I mean, I'm in full support of the Red Room and with that whole thing, but I'm not. I mean, I'm never going to play it. I'm never going to buy it. I only spend money on the things that I can use.
Yeah, I'll buy it just to read it. I don't know. This is probably one of those products I actually won't spring for a hard copy because why? I mean, where am I going to keep a hard copy? I'm going to keep it in my bathroom? Oh, yeah, I'm sure a guest coming in will want to read that.
What's this book by Dick Pound in your bathroom?
What do you mean your penis size grows every level? I don't know. Yeah, it's not. I know Green Apple. It's not supposed to be serious. You can have a good time playing silly stuff. I know, but there's there's kind of a happy medium for parody and where parody meets playable gaming. Like Fatal is not something you would play, but you would play Paranoia, and Paranoia, as much as of a joke game as it is still playable and still kind of has some fun elements to it. Tales from the Floating Vagabond was funny and had comedic elements, but you could still actually kind of make a halfway serious game out of it and enjoy it. I just can't see, me and the guys gathering around the table and playing a game of Men based on what I've heard.
And to be fair, to support Miguel and Sylvia, there's still tons of other titles in the Wretchedverse that are very playable. Oh, yeah. So you don't have to pick up Men.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they put out some good products. They have put out some good products.
Yeah.
They're strong.
I mean, Wretched Space is pretty sweet. I would like to marry a Wretched Space with some of the other games that I have, the other space games, and see what I can come up with as far as a working OGL game. I think that would be fun.
They're surprisingly upbeat still for given the situation.
Yeah, really.
What else can they do?
I mean, they've been destroyed.
Yeah, they're taking it on the chin and pretty well. I mean, I talked to them last week, and I expected a very different Miguel and Sylvia, and it's still the same Miguel and Sylvia. Thank goodness, right? But what a shit show.
Yeah, I think they got done dirty. But it's like we were saying earlier. Some companies, some people do get favoritism, and it's kind of obvious. I don't know.
I got one quick question before we leave.
Okay.
And I'm going to go around the table here. T-shirt. First RPG, tabletop RPG you ever played was?
Oh, yeah, that was D&D Basic by Moldve.
Okay, Ryan?
Spelljammer.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I was a late bloomer.
Greg?
AD&D second edition.
Second edition, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
you have to answer now.
Oh,
yeah.
Very, very late 1979. My memory fails me somewhat. It could have been very early 1980. AD&D, first edition, obviously.
Yeah, I tell the story all the time about how I got into D&D because, yeah, I was a kid over at my local YMCA, and I was in the after school program because, parents worked, so I was a latchkey kid originally. So yeah, I'd go to YMCA after school for daycare, and one afternoon, I'm up there, and somebody has abandoned a red Moldvay D&D basic book. I mean, it's just sitting there. Nobody's claimed it. It's been out all day. Nobody knew who it came from or anything. It's just been sitting there. So I picked it up, started reading it, decided, nobody's claimed it, so it's mine now.
It came from the devil.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but that's okay.
I was. We probably don't have time. Never mind.
Next week we can.
Maybe next week. We do have it next week. We have more time.
Short version. I was kidnapped by my biological mother and hoisted to Dallas, Texas. I had no idea what was going on. My parents were divorced, and wound up meeting a couple of friends in school and was like, "Hey, we play this game called Dungeons and Dragons. You ever heard of it?" Never heard of it before in my life. Small town Missouri boy, and hooked ever since.
Wow, that's pretty cool, though. You actually had people pull you into it. I had to learn everything from the beginning and figure out how it worked.
Yeah.
But for Basic, it wasn't that bad. And that's probably why I still like Basic to this day. It's one of the reasons why I still, as stupid as it is, race as class, I know Grim thinks it's dumb. I kind of can't break away from it as a good idea. And yet, from a player's point of view, I'm like, I hate it.
It's a gameable concept.
Yeah.
It's very gameable. I mean, but coming from my first experience being an AD&D, races class to me is like, I'm kind of on Grimm's side. I was like, I don't really care for that a whole lot. I think a dwarf should be able to be more than just this, or an elf should be more than just this. But it's very gameable, and yeah, it works really well with mechanics.
Oh, that was the video that he went. Okay.
You didn't see this?
So I did see the video, L. I'm not sure in particular why you say he went full R. Again, I wish Grim were here so that he could more properly speak to you about it. Because
Oh, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm just mumbling to myself.
No, you're fine. The question was about racial class level limits. Grim cried about race as class instead. Well, isn't it all kind of one thing? I don't know. I guess I have to go back and watch it before I can really answer you, L. But yeah, just like I said, coming from a basic perspective, it's like, yeah, I remember race as class, and as a youngster, I thought it was cool. But yeah, after AD&D and seeing how all your races could be any class, and then them having level limits, it was kind of like, I don't know. I'm at this perspective on levels these days, guys, where I started thinking about this last night. It's kind of dumb to have career single class characters, because almost nobody ever gets there.
Yes.
I mean, other than a wizard who, because they want those 9th level spells, will stay in the same class from 1 all the way to 15 or whatever when they finally get 9th level spells. Almost nobody else will stay in a single mono class their entire career. So I almost think it would behoove my game, when I get it finished, to shorten the levels and instead do what D&D Modern did, because D&D Modern didn't have 20 levels. D&D Modern had 10 level classes, and they told you why right up to bat. They said it's very rare that anybody remains the same career field their entire life. It just doesn't happen. And And I think being able to let people freely class between classes without penalties and all that is better than, like, oh, well, if you decide to leave being a fighter, you have to take an XP penalty if you want to be a thief or something. I always thought that was stupid. Oh, I've been learning how to fight all my life, but suddenly learning how to sneak and pick locks is going to hamper my growth as a person, when in fact I am trying to grow by changing my skills. And the only reason I can think that they did that was because they wanted niche protection.
That's interesting, because it's something I've been toying with my development, the game I'm developing. To have not a huge amount of classes, but a fairly broad spectrum, and to allow players to purchase levels with experience points in different ones. Because I tend to agree with that monoclass sort of thing is a little bit ridiculous. I tried experimenting with skill systems, but invariably you wind up playing GURPS or a Call of Cthulhu type thing.
Yeah.
And you have to wind up doing percentile based and all this garbage.
I mean,
percentil's fine, but let's be honest, most people don't like it.
Yeah. Fighters in particular, I think it's very rare to see somebody play a fighter from 1 to 20.
Right. Yeah.
No, they're all loaded up on the front end anyhow, whereas the wizards are loaded on the high end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it makes sense for a fighter, even thematically. They don't know anything other than to fight, but eventually running with a party, doing these adventures, the natural progression of a character is that it's not likely you're going to start a fighter and end a fighter. Wizard's the only one that makes sense, both from a mechanical and a thematic standpoint. So,
unless you're doing domain play like Axe.
Fair.
I need to learn more about that, because I do have Axe, but I've never bothered to research domain play, because all my players are kind of like, if you say the word domain play to them, they look at you like, you just took a shit on the table and told them to eat it.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like domain play is like percentile-based systems. I mean, your average player, they don't care about that. They don't want that. They want to roll a d20. They want to kill the dragon. They want to get the treasure. They want, rescue the buxom maiden, whatever. It's tough, because the game I want to develop probably isn't going to appeal to much of anybody but me.
I don't think it's people don't know how to play one fighter different from another because they lack imagination so much as it's kind of a metagame. Inherently, whenever you're wanting to play any kind of fighting class, and I played enough fighters to know this, you're looking for certain key things. You're looking for, how can I get more attacks per round? Or how can I get more attacks constantly? How much more damage can I do? Because my whole role in the entire game is to deal damage and deal it faster than everybody else. So you're kind of going to metagame into whatever class, race, weapon combination will help you achieve that. So usually it's a 2-weapon fighter with, whatever pumps you need in strength and dex to where you can wield those weapons effectively and deal lots and lots of damage. And of course, the biggest weapons you can carry with 2 hands. Or you pick up the biggest 2-handed weapon that deals the most singular damage as fast as it possibly can. It's just it tends to be the way to go.
I think what you're talking about is true, but it's also coming from the point of view of gaming the game. And when I started playing AD&D first edition back in 79-80, that wasn't really a thing. I think L kind of makes a point where you take the fighter and you can use your imagination to tailor that however you like. But as time progressed, and I think it was a natural occurrence, people started looking for those sorts of things about how to get more attacks, how to do this, how
Mm-hmm.
to optimize a character in a way. That might be a bad way of phrasing it, but
No, you're right.
I mean, that's essentially what you're doing. I don't know if that's an influence from video games or that's just a natural occurrence of the game itself. But
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And he says, don't play the meta, play your character. It's like, I understand that, L. I mean, and in a perfect world, that's how it would work. But this is the cold, hard facts of the game. For the first time you play, you may do it that way. The second time you play, you may be that way too. Third or fourth time, you're going to start noticing, hey, the wizard is out damaging me by an insane amount at a very quick level. I mean, by the time wizard gets fireball, they're out damaging you. The rogue started his career out being able to out damage you.
Yeah, but they're out damaging you. I mean, if you're playing by the old school rules, they're out damaging you once per day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a hardcore human fighter guy. I mean, that's just me.
But all it takes is one person in the group to go meta, and then it spoils the whole table.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a competition. I know that, L. In a perfect world, the what you're saying is true. But we don't really live in a perfect world, and you know, it's harder to cleave to a character just for the sake of being a character. If the game rewarded you somehow for doing that, or if the GM rewarded you somehow for doing that, oh, I know you could have taken this and been a much more better fighter, but you didn't. You stuck to your character, and I applaud you. So here's some more XP. Versus you chop down more orcs than the other guy did. Therefore, you get more XP.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just an old stubborn bastard because I will play an unoptimized character any day of the week.
Yeah,
I don't know how many human fighters I had that, you know, well, he's wearing studded leather armor and that's it because he has a high dex and he uses a bow a lot, and I just don't want the guy running around in plate mail.
Well, this is, I think, a good starting point next week with a couple of fresh faces.
Agree.
Let's talk about character optimization right off the top. What level do you tolerate? What, different schemes will fit? And when is it gaming and when is it game breaking?
Mm-hmm. All you're hearing is more people talking about how D&D fails and continue to stick with it. Well, I don't necessarily stick with D&D. I stick with lots of different games. It's why I experiment and learn other systems like Scarlet Heroes, which I'll be playing tomorrow. So please tune in and enjoy. But until then, hey, thank you for hanging out with us. We've run an extra long time, but everybody has to go because we got stuff we got to do.
No big deal.
But thank you for being with us, and we will see you next week. Until next week, have a great week in Geek, and please tune in tomorrow to catch me running some Scarlet Heroes. Until then, sweet dreams.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.
on the subway of life. Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.